Hey, here we are. Welcome to the Wise Guys on Cinco de Mayo. It's a Wise Guys special. We're the largest BYU sports live stream show in the whole world. Maybe the only one, but we're the largest. And we know we're all around the world. Presented by Brady Plus, distributed by the Deseret News. Our new podcast will be out tomorrow, available wherever you get your podcast. Dave McCann, Blaine Fowler. And here we are.
And my question is, on Cinco de Mayo, we should have thought of this. It's too late. We should have given some prizes to anybody that logs into the chat from Mexico today.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Mexican Day of Independence.
That would have been good.
Cinco de Mayo. And we already do have a lot of folks on the chat. Robert, who's always in from Ridgecast, California. First one on the chat today, Michael Zimmerman from Beaumont, Texas. Neil Jones from the Sonora Desert in southern Arizona. Looking forward to a great show. Thanks, Neil. Brandon Starks is in from St. George. Rainy St. George. It's good. Need some moisture down there. And then, of course, Jim Williamson says, always signing in from North Carolina.
Yeah, we're already on both coasts.
We appreciate this. 1984 forever, and I appreciate that. BYU Cougars 1984 forever. Checking in from New Mexico. Roseville says, Feliz Cinco de Mayo.
Okay.
I mean, happy Cinco de Mayo. Is that what it means?
It feels good. Feels right.
It feels great. So we're there. Yeah, the month of May here is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And so we've just got June and July before football is back. There's always lots to talk about with football and basketball, it seems like, especially when recruiting is kind of year-round, and there's the portal time and the high school recruiting time, so there's never a dull moment. As you're here with us, and those of you that are logging in, like you always do, Linda Murray, as always, who I met on the cruise and had a great visit with from Saratoga Springs. Remember, for those of you that haven't, to subscribe at wiseguys.com. And when you subscribe, you can, first of all, when you get to that website, you can check out all of our old content. And it's kind of evergreen. There's great stuff there that's fun, and fun to look at still and listen to still from years back, all kinds of tremendous guests. When I look at that list, I can't even fathom that we've had the kinds of folks that we've had on this show and the stories that they've told. So hit that subscribe button on your YouTube.
It's free. It's our favorite price.
It's free. Hit the subscribe channel on YouTube as well. That is also free. So we only ask you to do free stuff here. So
Oregon's in the house. There's Farmington, Utah, Pensacola, Florida, Salem, Utah, Saratoga Springs. Everyone say hello to us, and we'll try to say hello right back to you. Wise Guys, thrilled to have Brady Plus as our title sponsor. Brady Plus provides cleaning, food service, and packaging equipment, dispensers, and service and repairs with over 150 distribution facilities across the country. They employ over 6,000 people. They're big sponsors of BYU Sports and of the Wise Guys, and we love Brady Plus.
Yeah, and you can see right over Dave's left shoulder, Deseret News, who's our distribution partner. There you go, Dave. You're a great spokesman, brother.
There you go.
I love it. Deseret.com, Utah's newspaper since 1850. Watch for all of our content on all of their social media sites as we serve Cougar Nation all over the world, thanks to Deseret News and to Brady Plus. Hey, and Alan says to me, hey, B, when you come to Orongo for a steak dinner? If I go there, then Dave's got to come with me.
Yeah,
right?
It sounds like a...
Has to be B and D
sounds like a
for
team,
steak dinner.
Team package
it's a team
there.
thing. So
there's Leander, Texas. Boyd, good to have you there. Hey, this is like one of our biggest shows ever. Here's a baseball question. We'll talk about baseball later, but we're not going to talk about it as much as you want. But baseball teams are struggling, trying to get into the conference tournament. We'll talk about that later in the show, so we'll ask you to be patient on that. But we will have one of our biggest shows ever. AJ Debansa is going to walk through that door and sit down next to you, Blaine, in a little while tonight.
I didn't put my chair higher.
He's coming from class. Right now he's sitting in class, and then he's coming over, and we'll talk about how life's going as he transitions to life in Provo and getting ready for all the hype for basketball.
BYU got some significant transfer portal additions this last couple of days, so we'll talk about that a little bit. And hey, another guy that's going to walk through that door very soon is senior Chase Roberts, the great wide receiver. He's on tonight's show. He's going to be in studio. He'll update us on his shoulder, which he injured in that Alamo Bowl. He's been rehabbing and working on. We'll get an update on that. And about the receiver room and some of these additions. He'll talk to us about that. I'm getting worried now because AJ comes in here. What's AJ, 6'8", 6'9"?
6'9".
Yeah, Chase is 6'4", at least. I'm going to have to put my chair up way higher because I'm going to look like a little dude sitting right here next to those guys. But Blair Treu is coming in. Great filmmaker, Blair Treu, the man behind the Sharing Aloha documentary about the Polynesian Cultural Center. And he's a little guy like us. So There'll actually be somebody here in studio with me that won't tower over me in this one.
That'll be cool. Well, the chairs are adjustable, and that's always important. Yeah. So, Dr. Sean Woodland says, FYI, it's not Mexican Independence Day. That's in September.
What is
it's Cinco de Mayo? I'll tell you exactly what it is.
Dave's looking it up.
Because we have it on our On This Day segment that comes at the end of the show. So, on this day in 1862, Mexico defeated the French in the Battle of Puebla, as Cinco de Mayo was born, and then they turned it into a day to celebrate Mexican culture and heritage. Now, I came to know this day in Las Vegas because there was always a big fight Cinco de Mayo weekend, and then in September was Mexican Independence. That's when Oscar de la Hoya fought, the 2 times a year.
Oh, baby.
And then Floyd Mayweather, who doesn't have any Spanish-American blood in him, took over those 2 boxing. Now, Canelo Alvarez has taken over those 2 dates, and he fought over the weekend in Vegas.
So in Cinco de Mayo, the Mexican army beat the French, is what you're saying.
In the Battle of Puebla.
So it just
and
became,
then they just turned it
became
into a day.
a national day of celebration.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. And so that's what it is. And it's a great, anytime you have an excuse to go eat chips and salsa, that seems to be the thing. So happy Cinco de Mayo Day to everybody.
And by the way, my family tonight at home, we're eating as I left. I'll get some when I get home. But we had big, huge taco dinner. So there you go.
There you go. Very appropriate.
In honor of Cinco de Mayo.
And I had quesadillas. It seemed right.
Everything just seems right. Things are lining up.
So 3 BYU guys tonight. We've got Treu, Roberts, and Debansa. And actually 5, because then there's you and me.
Yeah.
And so we anticipate some good questions. By the way, you can ask questions, too, to our guests. When they come on, then hit them up on the stream, and we'll try to get to as many as we can.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of things we want to talk to these guys about, but we also know that this is one of the unique things about this show is fans from all over the world can get on the stream and ask our guests questions. And who gets to do that?
Yeah.
I don't know another format that allows that.
Well, and what other format do you get? We love this long format that is casual and you notice we're always like Dave has a sweatshirt on. I've got a t-shirt and some sweats on, and as everybody knows, I never wear shoes on the show. We want our guests to be comfortable.
Is that the message you're sending? The no shoes?
Yeah. Comfort? Well, I texted Blair Treu today, and I said, hey, remember, we're like really cash. This is the chill vibe. Like we just come and tell stories, and you're here with us for a bit, so feel free not to wear shoes and to wear sweats if you want. So we'll see what he comes in at.
Let's jump into our Cougar Board question of the week, because it's going to lead us into our football discussion.
Yes.
And that's going to lead us to Chase Roberts. If you're not familiar with Cougar Board, it's the largest online community of BYU fans with thousands of posts every day. This question comes from Billy Jack Blue, one of their insider subscribers. How are spending budgets and NIL compensation determined for athletic teams outside of football and basketball? My question is driven from the 2 narratives of we don't spend enough on baseball, so we aren't competitive, versus the narrative of if we were more competitive, we would receive more money and support. Like what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Yes, that's the exact same.
Okay, let's tackle the first one. How are spending, and I think they're still figuring this out because they're still waiting for the NCAA to rule on roster limitations, which will have a big factor into who gets what, because teams will know how many players they can have. That's currently on pause, which I think kind of threw people for a loop because it was moving through and they expected a ruling a couple weeks ago.
Everybody
and then
thought it was going to be
stopped.
105, period. No walk-ons, basically. Yeah. Everybody on scholarship, and then everybody part of the revenue share and all of that. And then all of a sudden they're waiting for a judge who may, issue an injunction and change it and have the ability to have more. And so there's a lot up in the air when it comes to how universities are going to handle this internally. And remember, when it first started out, the whole NIL part was to be independent, right? Like it's going to be run outside by groups that were not tied directly to the university. And now all of a sudden, there's this move for it to come in-house and for the universities to control this revenue share. And so this is a work in progress as we speak. And who determines how much baseball gets and how much women's basketball gets and all of that, up to this point has kind of been whatever those programs can kind of raise on their own, right? But that's changing moving forward with this revenue sharing initiative that each sport's going to get a certain amount. I still think the sports that can generate more interest and have more donors can get more.
Right. And the revenue generators are always going to be the cash cows.
Right. And the ones that are having success, right?
Yeah.
When you're winning and you're bringing. It's like success breeds success. Money makes more money. It's just kind of how it works. So when you got a basketball team and a football team, both preseason ranked already, big time recruits coming in, winning portal battles, all of that, it gets the fan base excited, and donors start to go, hey, we give some more. We can give some more.
Yeah, and you can't just throw money at something and make them better.
Right.
Mark Pope tried that initially. It is, you got to have a core, and then when you go and invest in certain kids, they got to be home runs.
Right.
Or you're in 5th place in the WCC for a second straight year.
And you can't invest a bunch of money in a very talented young man or woman that doesn't fit in the culture.
Right.
Because then that takes away from what you're trying to do. And it hurts team chemistry. And then you feel like, wow, did we way overpay for that player or what? The other thing we're all waiting for, and I talked to lots of coaches over the last several months, and everyone says, yeah, we're kind of waiting for the NCAA to come in and do something in terms of putting some fences around what can be done with caps and limits. When you think about it right now, the NFL, the NBA, and Major League Baseball, and Major League Soccer for that matter, NHL, all have more rules and governance around salary caps, free agency, than college sports do right now.
Yeah.
Professional sports are way more regulated to make sure that there's some balance in what they're doing. If they didn't, the Yankees would win the World Series every single year.
One would think.
They should, right? If there's no salary caps and no roster limits and no, and it was this, everybody could be a free agent whenever they wanted to. Yeah. Everybody would just go to the Yankees and they would win every year.
Or the Cubs, or the Dodgers.
Who
I'd like to think they'd go to the Cubs.
Who would win in football every year? I don't know. Maybe the Giants would be better.
They do a nice job with their salary cap,
and
they've found a way to create parity.
Right.
But one thing that is never going to happen is fairness. This isn't a fair thing. In the capitalistic marketplace we're in. All the sports aren't going to get the same amount of money. All the sports don't generate the same kind of attention.
Right.
They don't sell the same number of tickets. Football is such a financial driver, and we've had every coach come on this show, and they admit it. They understand football drives the bus. Basketball is a close second, and everyone else is further back. And coaches that come to terms with that sleep better at night, because that's the reality of things. And it's the same way at all the other schools. And one school might invest more in baseball, but they might invest less in softball or soccer or whatever. And it's dependent on interest and what can generate revenue,
right.
Which is the same thing how the business world works. And college sports, we've known, has been a business for a long time. Now it's just obvious. Paying the players, paying the coaches, raising ticket prices. There's nothing cheap across the board. And now it's about how do we use our money wisely and how do we maximize it? And that doesn't necessarily mean we pour all our money into a sport that might on a great day get 2,500 fans, when across the street on a bad day they get 59,000.
Right.
It's economics. That's just the way it is.
But I will say this, in today's world of NIL, and everybody's better off financially. Even the sports. So you can say, man, they don't get their fair share, and they value, let's just say.
Or they don't get as much
let's just
as
say
something
this baseball
else.
thing. Wichita State unbelievably supports their baseball. Well, they got this great history of baseball, right?
Or maybe they have one guy that says, I'm giving you $2 million.
I'm a billionaire and I played baseball here, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to support this baseball program. But by and large, it's driven by fan interest and how many people are in the stands and how many eyeballs are on television.
It doesn't guarantee wins. Oklahoma State football with Boone Pickens and his estate is not shy one penny of battling with the big boys, and they took last place last year in the Big 12 with 21 returning starters. So it doesn't just mean you
have to evaluate talent. It makes it so much more important that you evaluate talent appropriately, and then not only that you coach up that talent, right? And then in addition to coaching up that talent, you put the players out on the field that can play as a unit and win football games. Or win basketball games for that matter. One of the great things that I thought that Kevin Young did last year, because they had a talented team, but does anybody think that BYU had more talent out on the floor than many of the teams that they beat this last year in the Big 12?
No.
But that team played as a unit last year.
Yeah.
And I would submit that if Kevin Young can work that same kind of magic this year, where they play as a unit and they have great chemistry, and they defend as a team, and they do all those things that team did last year. I think the talent's upgraded in a big way.
Upgraded the talent in the portal.
So now, if he can continue to do what he did with upgraded talent, then all of a sudden you got a team that's in the top 10.
Yeah.
And I think people are assuming out there, because when we look at the preseason polls already, they're going, oh, wow, Kevin Young proved that he was a good coach. He created chemistry. He's got enough of those chemistry guys back to teach the new guys. He's adding all this talent. This should be a top 8, top 6 program, top 10 program, maybe a Final Four program.
If it comes together.
So we'll see. But coaching him up and getting him to play as a team is still as important as it has ever been. And I think that Kevin proved that last year.
All right, Billy Jack Blue, thanks for the question. Our Cougar board question of the
Stevens,
week.
Ken Stevens says, hey, it was fun to see you on the cruise, Blaine, and I love telling you my Danny Plater story, which I did love. He told me a great story about our old friend Danny Plater, who's a great wide receiver at BYU, who's passed away. And Kent shared a great story with me about Danny.
That's awesome. Fun. Football, BYU is number 9 in ESPN's top 25. They were sitting around 16 in a bunch of polls, and this one's in the top 10.
Yeah.
And On3 Sports came out today with their post-spring top 25, and they've got BYU at 14, the highest-ranked team from the Big 12. And then right behind them at 15 is Arizona State, and then Kansas State, and then Iowa State, and then Baylor at 24.
Yeah.
That seems about right.
The On3 seemed a little disrespectful of the Big 12, so I didn't like that the highest-ranked Big 12 team sits at number 14.
But then they put a chunk of the league there.
Then the whole league is like 14, 15, 16. So at least they respect them enough to say they're a bunch of top 20 programs, but not any top 10 programs. So I beg to differ with that, and we'll see. They'll play it out in the field. What's
interesting is when the AP Top 25 comes out in August, it kind of feels like BYU will be between 15 and 20.
Yeah.
When in theory, they should be more between 10 and 15. I mean, they ended at number 13 and they got better.
Yeah.
But, the polls tend to push us back a little bit.
ESPN's got them 9.
Yeah.
So that's top 10, right?
Right, yeah.
Where would I have them? I'd have them between 10 and 12.
Yeah.
I'd have them right on the edge of being a college football playoff, right there.
Maybe no worse than they finished at 13.
Yeah. And I think they have the potential to be better than they were last year. I think their schedule is more favorable to get, to win last year. I felt there were so many either or games last year, and a couple of games that frankly, none of us expected them to win that they won.
Right.
And then what I love is when we talk to any of these players, and you think, man, well, they got a target on their backs now. Like, people know who they are. The players act like, man, we blew it in those 2 games we lost. Absolutely blew it in the 2 games we lost. We are still so hungry because we knew what could have been last year. We are not satisfied. And everybody doubts us. And I'm thinking, no, I don't think everybody doubts you anymore.
No.
But they've convinced themselves that everybody doubts them.
Well, good for them. Yeah. That seems to work good. Talked to Kalani today. He had a good time at the FanFest. You're up there in Idaho.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was really fun. And it's interesting. We got to visit with a bunch of great athletes. So Kalani was there. He sat down with us for a while and visited. We had a Sports Nation Saturday special for that first hour of the FanFest up there. And Kalani brought with him Raider DeMooney, strong safety. And I've talked to Raider offline, but to interview Raider, I was really impressed. Really bright, very good communicator. Great to talk to him. Logan Latui was there with Raider. We had the 2 of them on together. And then we had the 2 big tackles sitting right next to me, and Andrew Gentry and Isaiah Jota.
Big guys.
And Isaiah says he's right now at left, and Andrew's at right.
Okay.
And after their segment, we went to commercial break, and I stood up and shook their hands, and I just looked straight up at both of them and went, these guys are giants.
They're giants.
They're huge. And then women's basketball, Brindley Cannon was there, and Cambry Barber. And they were excited about the couple of bigs that the women's basketball team has gotten. So they were excited about that. And then we had some Cougarettes on there. Abby Gray came on, and Liza Bull. And they told me, Blaine, tell Dave you guys had the cheer squad on. How about a couple of Cougarettes? I'm like, okay.
Yeah. We're no respecter of.
We're gonna get some Cougarettes on here in the coming weeks for you. And Liza Bull's quite a singer, so maybe we'll even have Liza sing when she's on here.
Fantastic. So. Well, the Cougars got some good news over the last week and last weekend. Signing Bear Bachmeier, 6'2", 225 freshman dual threat quarterback. He enrolled at Stanford in January. and went into the portal after they fired their coach. Had 4-star offers coming out of high school from BYU, Alabama, Georgia, Notre Dame, and a whole bunch of others. And a lot of folks say this is the guy that will contend to replace Jake Retzlaff after this coming season.
Big, strong, good-looking athlete that can throw the ball around. And one of my favorite things about him, I already know he's just a little quirky because he wears number 47. Like, what quarterback? I don't think a quarterback at BYU's ever worn a number 47.
We're going to ask Chase if he likes that whole idea of wearing 47.
47.
Because Chase can tell him, he's a senior, and he can tell a freshman, dude, change your
Here's
number.
the thing. If you're a quarterback and you're going to wear 47, if you're not good, it doesn't go good.
You're right, because everyone knows where 47 is.
You better be good if you're going to wear 47.
How about his brother, Tiger, a 6'1" junior receiver? He joins the Cougs. 13 starts for Stanford, 46 for 476, a couple of touchdowns. Stanford lost 26 players to the portal after they fired their coach. That's what happens. But these are two guys BYU wanted before, and now they get them.
Yeah, and I think, and we can talk to Chase about that when he steps in here in just a second. We know this. He's got very, very good hands, and he'll go battle for the football. And there's already a deep receiving core with his team coming back. Chase leading the way. I think this just gives BYU additional depth, and he can do a few different things. And, man, if there's a position group to get excited about, it's wide receiver on this BYU team, and this is a good one to add.
Or defensive tackle. The Cougars signed Justin Kirkland from Oklahoma State. He'll join the interior of that defensive line with Keanu Tanavasa, who came down from Utah. Now, all of a sudden, the 4 down linemen that all finished up are getting replaced, and they're going to be better up front.
Yeah, so 6'3", 335 pounds.
That's pretty good.
So, and he was the 3rd highest graded player on the defense for Oklahoma State this last year by Pro Football Focus. So he's a guy that was getting it done. So this isn't somebody that, I'm not getting playing time, so no, this is a kid that got playing time, played really well, and said, I want to go back home. Yeah. And he comes back to BYU. So this is really cool. This will be really helpful when you put him along Keanu Tanavasa at D-tackle, and all of a sudden you got some block eaters up there where those backers can now run free.
And they got another big guy visiting that can bolster that part of the group. Cougars also add Reggie Frishknecht to the receiver room. He's 6'4", 200. Caught 38 passes for 740 yards and 14 touchdowns last year as a freshman at Snow. Then he transferred to Weber State.
He's only there for spring.
And so he's got 3 years.
Yeah, he's got 4 to play 3. He has a redshirt year and 3 to play. Manti High School, so kind of in a small school. Nobody really knew who he was. So he kind of had to get into the spotlight. I'll say this, at junior college, he had 14 touchdowns last year. That led National Junior College Athletic Association. So he's another big body. I'll tell you what he doesn't have. His arms aren't jacked quite like the guy that's stepping in.
He's got all summer to work on that. Our first guest tonight is one of the leaders of the BYU football team and the top receiver in 3 seasons with the Cougars. He has 116 receptions for 1,784 yards and 12 touchdowns. He also has a 100% completion rate, throwing the football 1 for 1 for 22 yards and a touchdown. It's our pleasure to welcome back to the Wise Guys, the pride of American Fork High School, Chase Roberts.
That's right. Good
with this winter beard still hanging on.
The off-season beard.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, gearing up.
Frishknecht doesn't have. He's not quite like this guy. So
he's better. I
have to tell you, at the FanFest, I sat down next to Spencer, and Spencer goes, "Hey, the muscular Blaine Fowler," and Kalani was sitting there, and Kalani goes, "Well, what am I?" And then we go, "Well, what do you want to be?" And he said, "Can I be the stocky?" So we go, "Yeah, you can be the stocky."
Definitely
guy.
Stocky. Yeah, there you go. That's a good word.
Kalani wanted to be stocky.
Chase, how you doing?
Good.
It's good
Doing
to have
great.
you here.
Yeah, good to be here. Good to be back. I remember it was a couple years ago, right? Freshman year that I came on this.
You've been here.
It's good to be back. And nice little setup.
A lot of questions for you. So you threw that lone touchdown to Jaron Hall as a freshman against Baylor. In the same game, you caught your first touchdown pass.
That's right.
You had your first 100-yard receiving game. You won the game 26-20 in overtime. Baylor was number 9. So when you tell your kids about your playing days, do you just start with that game?
That's probably what I'll start with, yeah. Yeah, that was my favorite. I mean, that was kind of what jump-started. It was my first game ever at LaVell Edwards Stadium playing on that field. So to have a game like that and to beat a really highly ranked team, it definitely was super memorable and probably the most memorable game of my of my career.
You
thus
made
far.
some spectacular catches, and we're going to talk about your favorite touchdowns later.
Yeah.
But that toe toucher just before halftime for your first one, that was pretty special.
Thank you. That was a fun one.
So,
it was a blast.
and so that was you played a huge role in that game. Was that the first time in a home game you'd run out of the tunnel too? Or
So everything.
Oh my goodness.
The first time I suited up, first game.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was you never can forget that, right?
Oh no,
Yeah,
no. It was pretty miraculous. It was something I'll never forget for sure.
Alamo Bowl, you bang up your shoulder, and your night's done early.
Yeah.
How's your shoulder tonight?
Great. I can do everything. I've been catching. We went down to California this past week, and we were running all the routes from the route tree and doing all the things that I'll be doing in the fall. So
I know you were bummed out having to kind of sit out spring drills. I mean, you were out there, but you just weren't taking shots.
Of course. It was also nice. I mean, it's my fourth spring ball. So to rest a little bit, to coach up the guys, and to obviously it's hard. You want to be out there and make plays, and that's the best way to help your team. But it was nice.
We saw you out there though, and you were running some routes and doing work and working on the side. Like, so what did you feel you got done in spring ball? Even though you couldn't participate in contact drills, what did you get done in spring ball personally?
I think the biggest thing was making sure that our room is ready and we're playing together. We have the playbook down, and we're confident when we step on the field in the fall that everyone's going to be on the same page. And it's hard when you guys aren't on the same page and you have everyone running around. And I feel like we were able to get those kinks out and everything during spring ball, and I was able to coach up and see everything from Jake's perspective as a quarterback and look at more blitzes and different things like that, and step my game up that way as I kind of look at the field and slow the game down more as I'm a senior this year. And that's the goal. And I think spring ball was really beneficial in that sense of slowing the game down, reading the pressures, different, odd front, even front, coverages, stuff like that.
And for people, they're just, why does that matter? Why does it matter for you to understand where the blitzes are coming? To almost be like a quarterback and go, this is where this is coming from, so Jake's going to have to do this. Why does that matter for you to understand that?
It's just taking it to that next level. You hear a lot of NFL guys, like that's why they're so good, is there's a lot of great athletes, but when you can take it to that next level and, all right, there's a Sam Fire coming in, that means that I'm one-on-one with this guy, and the safeties actually cheated more over there. Like, I'm one-on-one, I'm going to look quick, like the pressure's coming, stuff like that, taking it to the next level, that I need to speed up my route, and then I'm going to be more open for Jake. Stuff like that, to where just takes it to the next level, and Jake feels more confident throwing me the ball. I'm going to know where to be at the right time, stuff like that. So
when you separate your shoulder in a game just by landing funny, and you're bummed out because it's the Alamo Bowl, and,
of course,
and you're ready to roll in that game, how can you test it? Will it really be the first week of fall camp where someone can kind of tackle you and or can you find out earlier?
We have a great squad of trainers and sports scientists that I'm going to be doing these different machines that really jerk my arm, that really kind of simulate that hitting motion. I'm going to be falling on stuff and doing things before we get the pads on. So I'm going to be fully confident going in and going full speed once fall camp starts, diving for a ball or hitting someone, lowering my shoulder. So we'll prep up to that point to where I'll be full go by August.
If you don't get hurt in that game and have to rehab through spring, are we sitting here talking to you as a guy that's going to NFL mini camp instead of being back for your senior year? Or were you thinking about coming back in?
No, I did make the decision before the bowl game that I was going to come back, and I was pretty confident in that. I mean, if things happened differently and I had 200 yards,
if you had 13 receptions,
something like that, and everyone, okay, you're on the top of the draft board now, you need to enter, then we would have talked a little bit with the coaches and stuff, and I'm sure they would have been supportive of me leaving. But I feel like it's all God's plan, and I've been able to really see a lot of miracles happen since I tore my shoulder, and I'm excited for this next year.
You led this team last year with 52 receptions, 854 yards, 4 touchdowns. So what do you need to improve in your game this year? Like, what do you want to see out of yourself that moves you up that draft board and gets you where you want to be in the next level after this next football season?
Yeah, I think it's keep doing what I'm doing, but taking it to the next level in making those big time plays, in kind of being versatile all over the field, taking a little more jet sweeps and doing little screens and kind of being all over the field, getting those deep balls where I show my speed. one-on-one routes where we're ISOing me to a single side and being able to go up and get it or work the guy, yards after catch, being quick out of the breaks. There's a lot of things, obviously, that I want to work on, but I think it's just taking it to that next level of being the guy and being that go-to that makes plays in big-time moments.
BYU star receiver Chase Roberts is on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus and distributed by the Deseret News. We'll take questions from the stream. Here's one about Darius, and that'll tie into this one here. There's no Darius Lassiter or Keelan Marion. You add Reggie Frishknecht and Tiger Bachmeier in the last week.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the receivers room?
I think we're in a great place, and especially with this Tiger kid coming in. I was able to talk with him for a while, as you know, we're trying to get him to come, and he's a nerd when it comes to being a wide receiver in football and statistics and different things like that, which is a great thing. So I think he's going to add a lot of drive to the receiver room, and where he's so focused on the little things. And it's going to be a really beneficial part of our receiver room. And I think he's going to make some plays on the field. We got Parker Kingston. Yeah. We got JoJo. We got guys that are fast, that know the route tree, know the playbook, and can go up and get the ball, can work the slot, the outside. I think we've got a full, complete receiver room now.
That's good because everyone's going to focus on you. Mm-hmm. And so you need some of these slashers to make plays to
step
get
up,
defenses to go, hey, wait a sec.
We have to play these guys straight up. We can't just double chase.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
That's what you want, right?
Exactly.
You mentioned he comes in. He actually has 2 years of eligibility left. I didn't realize that. He graduated. And you mentioned he's smart.
Yeah.
And then I read that he has he graduated with a computer science degree from Stanford.
No, he's really smart. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a lot like us. It's like the three of us.
I'm thinking the guy should be able to learn what we're trying to teach him, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty fun. How do you expect, you talked about you getting better and understanding the pressures and all of that so that you can help Jake be better.
Yeah.
Where do you expect Jake to make strides this fall from where he was last fall?
I think he's being a quarterback, having a full year under your belt, plus those extra games that he got that year before, your confidence just grows so much. You start to slow things down. There were games, obviously, when you're playing in big-time games, Utah game, loud stadiums, that you feel a little rushed. And I think Jake this year is so confident and I'm just going to calm down. And, I'm just going to play my game and do my thing. And I think that's the result, or what you're going to see this year from Jake is his control over the team, making everyone feel comfortable and calm. And I think Jaron was really good at that. And I think he's starting to develop more of what Jaron had, but also with that fire that we all love from Jake, right? So it's that balance that he's able to find, and he's getting it. He has it. And there were flashes last year of that. And it comes when big-time moments happen and you make big-time plays, and he did that. And I think we're going to see a lot more of those this year.
What's the month of May like for a senior football player?
Yeah.
It's
nice.
Does time stand still? What?
Yeah, so no more school. I just graduated, which is awesome. Thank you. And so we're actually going to Israel in a couple days, which will be awesome. And we just got back from California. So there's a lot of traveling. We trained there in California with Jake and a bunch of other receivers and the other quarterbacks as well. And that was a blast. Just bonding, getting, there's a lot of that goes on, I guess, in May and throughout the summer. And then Israel will be amazing.
Now, is that a football trip?
It's a football trip.
What's going on with that?
So it's called Athletes for Israel.
Okay.
And they invite a team every year. And they wanted the BYU Cougars to come.
Yeah.
And
what are you going to do?
Having Jake makes it, I would think.
Exactly.
Would we not be the obvious choice to go
That's exactly, why we were chosen, because Jake.
How cool is that, though?
Thanks to him, we all get to go to Israel, and it's going to be a blast.
Are you doing camps over there? What do you do?
Yeah, we'll work out with the Israeli football team.
Nice.
And we'll work out every morning. They have a facility for us. We'll visit all the Christian
holy sites,
and then Tel Aviv, do kind of a bunch of different stuff throughout Israel, and just enjoy our time. And
who's all going? You, Jake?
Me, Jake, Tanner Wall, Will Farron, Waylon, Logan, and I say Talon Alfrey.
Yeah.
So those 7.
All the smart guys are going. All the smart guys are going.
There you go.
Have fair.
Well, you got to,
Yeah.
if you're going, traveling to Israel, they're not going to want to send
exactly right.
troublemakers out
So
there.
you have 2 football camps, right?
Yes.
Build Power football camps. They're coming up May 23rd through 25th, the first one, and then May 30th through June 1st.
Yep.
That's at Utah Prep in St. George. Who's involved in that, and where can people go to get information about that?
Yeah. So this is going to be an amazing camp, and I hope that you can get your kids signed up, because it's not just football, but it's incorporating the gospel in it and a lot of faith aspects, and preparing, your son to prepare for a mission, I guess, and to prepare for life, and to establish a foundation on Christ, and also a lot of football, which is going to be amazing. So it's at Utah Prep Academy in Hurricane, St. George, and you can go on utahprep.com/camps. And it'll show up there, football.
Sign up.
And you can sign up. There's some deals going on too with, if you have 2 siblings, it'll be a lot cheaper, or 2 relatives. And we need a couple more guys. We need some guys to sign up. They're starting to fill up pretty fast, which is awesome and exciting. And so, that's pretty much it.
So part of that camp, a young receiver can go and you can show them how to play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And somebody just said, hey, Chase, thank you for the podcast that you and Connor do. Love to listen and grateful for your examples. Talk to us about that. You and Connor have done this podcast. It's called 2-Point Conversion. The name of it's pretty important, right? That's we like our name, Wise Guys, because people think that means,
Gotta have something catchy.
Yeah, I like it.
Right?
No, that's great.
But how'd you come up with 2-Point Conversion?
Yeah, there was a lot of options to choose from, and we have a lot of help, which is awesome, from BYU Radio. So they were coming up with a lot of different names and kind of showing us a list. And right as we saw 2-Point Conversion, me and Connor looked at each other and were like, that's perfect.
That's
like,
it.
That
Love
is
it.
it. That is perfect. Yeah, we love it. So we went with that and ran with it. They made a little logo, and it's been awesome. It's been such a fun time with Connor, and to see the feedback and stuff, it's been pretty special.
And like the camps you're doing, you combine faith and football in the podcast, which is really cool.
Exactly. Yeah, it's what it's all about.
What's your hope for that? Because you don't find athletes spending more time on faith than football in a podcast, but that seems to be your focus. Where do you want to go?
With the podcast, you're saying?
Yeah.
I think me and Connor have talked about it a lot, and we want to just keep writing it out as long as we can. And that's just showing people, like, whatever happens in the NFL, in life, whatever, like, that we put Christ first in our life. And that's what's been, the focal point, and why we feel we are successful is because of who we glorify and who we worship. And it's, just trusting him in everything, I think is the focus. And so we're going to ride it out as long as we can, whether it's remote, whether we're in the NFL, whatever comes. So.
That's the cool thing about a podcast. You can be in different cities, and make it look like you're sitting right next to each other.
Exactly.
We've done this one from other places, where one of us is here and the other.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I think I even did it from New Jersey one time.
Yeah.
And the Newark Airport.
All over
well,
the
I was in a
place.
hotel at the Newark Airport.
I love it.
Yeah.
So the last time you were here, you beat 9th-ranked Baylor, and now we sit at the start of your senior year, and the ESPN out today ranks you number 9. I mean, what about this journey? You've gone from there all the way to here with 12, 13 more games to play, maybe more.
Yeah. No, there's been some ups and downs, obviously. The season before this past season was difficult, and we learned a lot. We had to figure things out. But this past season, I think we saw what it takes to be a good team. And it comes from a good off season, bonding, coming together, trusting each other, loving each other. And that's what we're running with again. And we're just doubling down on everything that we did last year, and being able to come, from that game to now. It's been such a fun journey, and we've learned so much as a team. I've learned so much as an individual, and I just can't wait for 13, 14 more games, 15 more games with my brothers this next year, and we're super excited just to be on the field together.
Have you ever seen a BYU team bigger than this one? I mean, as the team's gotten better, Blaine was talking about beating the linemen. Everyone's huge. One walked by me today.
The other day, I was like, "Holy cow!"
I know.
They're huge.
They're massive.
Everybody's big.
Yeah. No, it's definitely becoming a team that everyone knows BYU now. It's like we're in the the pool of like the best teams in the nation, and you got to back that up with stud athletes as well as a culture that is one of the best.
So I wanted to ask you about that. You mentioned two words in your description a minute ago. You said learn, that the team learned a lot, you learned a lot, and then you used the word love, which people don't associate love with football very often, but Kalani's had this thing, love and learn, and he says it. Some people misinterpret what that means. I think they're just like, well, how can it be soft and be great in football? But it's nothing about being soft, right? No. What does he mean by love and learn, and how does that help this team create a culture of winning?
He always talks about the toughest person to ever walk the face of the earth. He talks about Christ being that guy, and he was he was so tough, yet he was so loving. And when we step on the field and we focus on love, that's toughness. Those are the guys that are going to kick your butt. But then we help you up. You know what I mean? People misinterpret soft and weak, but when you look at the stories of Christ and when he turns his cheek, that's tough. He doesn't go back and spit at them, and that's weak. That's weak sauce. And that's what Kalani always preaches. So when we turn our cheek and when we act in that way, and we're the lovers and not the fighters, it shows on the field that we're actually the tough guys. And we're coming out to smack you in the face, which is, I just said we don't fight, but if you can understand in that way of
within the lines legally, you're going to beat the crap out of them,
exactly,
and then you're going to love them up in between plays, and you're going to respect your opponent, and you're going to respect one another, and you're going to love one another, right?
Exactly. It comes from I love this game, I love my brothers, I love I respect you guys, but when we're on the field, because I respect the game so much, because I love my brothers, I'm going to play my hardest. I'm going to go out and smack you, and then I'm going to help you up. And then we're going to go at it again and again until, the game's over and we've it's resulted in a victory. So
nice.
BYU senior receiver Chase Roberts, graduated receiver Chase Roberts on the Wise Guys, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. Huntsville, Alabama on the stream. Vernal, Utah. Nephi, Utah, checking in. Taylor has a question for you, Chase. How are we feeling about the tight ends room? Not every pass goes to the wide R's, and we've got some nice additions. What do you think?
Dude, we've got some studs, and I just took a kid on a visit. His name's Kean.
The Need kid?
Yeah.
He's a monster, huh?
Monster. Probably 270.
Yeah.
And can run. Just a stud. So I'm super excited. We were just out in California with Carson Ryan, and he looked great. So I'm just super excited for the tight ends and what they're going to do. We're going to have a lot of weapons on the field. So
it's fun.
The more we can have on the field, the better.
And a healthy LJ, which you didn't have at the start of last season. That's a big difference maker, too, because once he came on, he changed things for everybody.
He's a stud. You should see him work in the offseason. That dude is a workhorse. So he'll be at the facility every day, all morning. We're working out together, and then he'll even stay after I leave. He'll be there before I get there. So,
and he stayed healthy in spring ball, which he did not do last year, which slowed his progress.
Yeah.
Sione Amoa's healthy.
Yep.
Pokai's healthy. This is a running back room that's got some guys that will dish out some punishment along with, make some people miss, right?
Yeah. Yeah. As you add up all these different position rooms that we're talking about, you put them all together, we're gonna have a good team. We just need to play together and love each other.
I better say Enoch's name or I'll get in trouble from Enoch Nawahini.
So
I'm trying to remember all the running backs, but all of those guys are very capable.
Yes.
It's a deep offense. It's going to be really fun.
Amazing.
5 questions for Chase Roberts before we get him out of here tonight. Presented by Strategy Square. Give your company's social media presence a boost with Chantal at strategysquare.co. AJ Debansa, Blair Treu going to join us coming up here on Wise Guys tonight. But this evening, for the next couple of minutes, Chase's 5 favorite touchdowns at BYU. Do you have 12? We've researched them all.
We've researched the 12.
And we're going to go 5 to 1, which means you're going to have to leave some meaningful ones out. But I know you had a chance to think about it.
I did.
And Blaine, lead us through.
Yeah, so let's start with 5. Your 5th favorite. Let's start with that one.
My 5th favorite, I'm going to say the UCF game.
Really? I had that one really high.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you see, it was a long one, and I got to kind of break free. I love those ones where I get to break free and run, and it was fun being in Florida. I think, making a move on the safety, being able to break a tackle and take it for a touchdown, that was definitely up there.
Hey, there was 27 seconds left
62
in the second
yards,
quarter.
62
27
yards. Right at the
seconds
end
left
of the,
before
right at the-
halftime.
Yeah.
And you take a 17-6 lead.
That was a game
That's
changer.
number 5.
That's number 5. Yeah.
Wow, I can't wait for 4, 3, 2, and
Yeah,
1.
I
Here
think,
we go.
well, when you're playing in like the atmosphere, like you got to put yourself in my shoes and like the feelings, you know? Like,
it's about the feels.
It's different.
We were all in your shoes running 62
There
yards.
you go. There you
I was
go.
like,
That
running,
was
if I was on
awesome.
the field, I would have been like Kalani running beside you.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Okay, so UCF.
I like that. Number 4.
Number 4 would be the Cincinnati. That was another, I think, 60-yard touchdown. I think being able to break free from like 2 guys pursuing me, that was my first kind of showing my speed.
Just run away from
Just
them.
run away, and that one felt really, really good.
That
And
was-
being at Lavelle, it's,
Yeah.
Third quarter, 59 yards.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was the play where we wondered if Keaton was throwing to you
Yeah,
or
yeah.
That's right.
who else was in the area?
I think Keanu.
Keanu.
Yeah. was coming
But you said
across.
all along it was to you.
Yeah.
Well, and so does, and he also,
Practiced that.
that's also.
The only person who said it was Keanu himself.
Right. I was
He
like,
thought
it
it
was
was
for
going
me.
to him.
It was
Chase
for me.
stepped in front.
Yeah, so,
But
okay, that's great.
there was a drama there because it was still a tight game.
Yes.
And then just the scramble. I think Keaton got nailed after he threw the ball,
He did.
and the next thing you know, you're down there with the cannon. Everything's going nuts.
It was a blast. Yeah. I love being in Lavelle, so it's hard to beat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 3.
Number 3, I would say, is the Kansas State one. Just the energy that we had, and I think that one was right before half too.
Yeah, that was second quarter as well.
Second quarter.
Yeah.
That one was 3. Just the energy of the stadium and what was happening.
You took
in
a
that moment.
17-7 lead,
Yeah.
and that was part of that whole like few minutes of just a barrage that you guys
Exactly.
had with, right?
Yeah. So that feeling in the crowd. Whew.
And that was weird because up until that last minute, you can get anything going on offense. And then there was the Prassis return, and then the pick,
it
and
was
then the
just-
very next play, you're there, you grab with 2 hands over your head, and the place goes bananas.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I think in that span, I think it was like 2 or 3 minutes, like the end of the half and the beginning of the second
Yeah.
half, we scored like 4 touchdowns or something like that, interceptions, fumble recovery. Like it was just
It
the
was
most
it
fun
was a
I've had.
game, and 4 minutes later, it wasn't.
It wasn't at all.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So Kansas State's baseball team was in town this last weekend, and I was calling the games, and I was talking to some other guys.
Yeah.
They haven't gotten over that.
No,
it
for
was right
sure.
across the street, and they're just like, that was a
smacked.
rotten night.
Okay, number 2.
Okay.
Number 2 is the Arkansas one-handed catch.
That's
Yeah.
number 2?
That's number 2.
man.
Yeah, I have to keep.
And that was
The number
that
one.
was to take the lead in that game.
That
right?
was at the end of the game.
31-38. You took the lead.
Yep, took the lead, and it ended up being the game-winning
Yeah.
touchdown, and we were able to hold them. And
So we've talked to you about that catch before, but
Yeah.
now that you've seen it probably 100 times, maybe 200, can you believe you caught it? I mean, that thing was,
I was
nowhere
fully
near
stretched.
you.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of intervention, divine intervention. I think.
He's not going to make an Austin Collie statement when good things on off the
So
field
listen,
are
that one,
happens, right?
that one wins the game. You had 8 minutes. Your defense was playing great that night, and you hold on, you win it on the road in SEC country, and that's number 2.
That's number 2. Yeah.
Okay, well, that just leads us up.
Number 1.
Leads us. Well, here's why: is freshman year.
Yeah,
we talked
here we go.
about it.
Yep.
And my first ever game at Lavelle Edwards Stadium, I was driving over. I remember Coach coming up to me. This is in front of the whole team, and Coach A-Rod points at me and says, "I expect some guys to step up this game." And then he points right at me, like in front of the whole team. And I was like, "Oh crap!" Like I'm already nervous, Coach. You don't have to do that in front of the whole team. And on the drive over, just praying, just like, "Hey, whatever happens, I'm gonna glorify you, God." And ended up having 9 catches, and then that touchdown before halftime to give us that momentum going into the second half. It was surreal, and the crowd going wild. Whew.
Isn't it great how sports creates those moments where it
I'll
literally
never forget.
changes the trajectory of what you're going to be as a football player?
Exactly. Yeah, it was kind of the foundation of I can play. I didn't even know if I could play at the college level. It was my first game in Lavelle Edwards Stadium, and against a really, really good team with really good players, and that was my confidence booster that I needed to continue my career here and to perform.
And isn't it interesting? Because we could have mentioned any one of these touchdowns, the 12 that we talked about, and you would remember every one of them. Yeah. Yeah. And isn't it funny how you can just remember those plays that have meaning, and some we didn't do things well, and somebody says, "Do you remember this?" And you go, "Oh yeah." It's crazy that you can remember that, but these are big moments in your life. They're just on your mind forever, right?
Yeah.
How about that? Here's some that didn't make your list.
Yeah.
And if your mom's listening, she'll go, "Yeah, that should have been on that list." The 59-yarder against Utah Tech. That's Utah Tech, but that might have been the most perfectly executed
That was an awesome throw.
That we've seen.
I debated to put that one in.
You're at full speed.
But that was more about the
Jaron's
throw,
chucking
right?
it, and everything was spot on.
Landed right in, the breadbasket. So
that was a good one.
Jaron touchdown right there.
Yet another 39-yarder against Southern Utah from Slovis.
Yes.
Which was a pretty good one.
Yep.
Yeah.
How about the Oklahoma one?
Yeah, 23-yarder against Oklahoma from Jake.
Yeah,
right.
That corner route. Yeah,
first quarter that tied the game at 7-7. Game that we should have won that year.
Yeah, and got that one against got a short one against Baylor. I think that was your only catch of the game. 2-yarder into the end zone.
I had a couple slants, I think.
And then it was a blowout real fast.
You had that 9-yarder against Arizona.
Yes.
To kind of give us a commanding lead at 20-7, right? That out and up, right?
Yep.
So that's the 12. And how many are you going to add this season?
Hopefully double that.
What's the goal?
So go for 12 this year. If you get 12, that'd be
Yep, we're
awesome.
going to go double digits, and that's the goal. I mean, you just take it one game.
Do you realize if you get 12, we're going to have to hear from Austin Collie so much more than we already hear from Austin Collie about his favorite receiver of all time.
I love it.
Yeah,
I want to make
Austin
him
loves
proud.
it. Was Austin down there with you guys in SoCal?
He wasn't able to make it. He had some things to get to.
Was Dennis there? Dennis Pitta with you guys at all?
He was busy as well, but he wanted to come down. They both wanted to make it.
Yeah, I know they like when you guys are down there. They like to get together with you, and they're good buddies of ours,
the past 2 years. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish with this one. We'll get you out of here on the stream. Does the football team get excited about the basketball hype, or does it feel a little extra pressure since football has always been the spotlight at BYU?
No, we love it. We want basketball to get as much love and praise as they can, and I think it only helps us as a football team and helps BYU. The thing is, we wear the Y on our chest to promote the BYU and to promote the faith and to promote what we do here. And as long as that's being promoted in a good way and the basketball team's doing their thing, football team's doing their thing, we want the swim team to do. You know what I mean? We want volleyball. We don't care. Like, we want all of our teams to be the best that they can be so that we can promote the brand, which is love and learn, which is Jesus Christ, and that's the main goal. So we love it.
So when AJ gets here, you don't want us to tell him that Chase said he could post you up whenever he wants?
Yes.
You would dunk on.
I would. I would take him.
I
would take him. Yeah, it'd be a close match.
But then
maybe out to lunch.
After he dunked and hung over him and came down, he would help him up.
Exactly.
Hey.
No, he would smoke me in basketball, but I could probably route him up.
Oh, yeah. If you put AJ out there to cover you on a route, no chance.
No.
He would have no chance.
No chance.
And that's true.
We've enjoyed your career. We're looking forward to the grand finale. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
The great Chase Roberts here on the Wise Guys. And for more information on his upcoming football camps, utahprep.com/sports. And you can find the 2 Point Conversion podcast wherever you get your podcasts, right next to the Wise Guys podcast.
Yep, absolutely.
Somewhere on there.
Yeah,
and hey, good luck in Israel.
Thank you.
Safe travels.
What a great opportunity.
We want you back before the season so we can recap all of your summer global excursions.
Love that.
All right.
I'm going to have to come throw some in the fall because if I'm going to keep having to play in this alumni game, I'm going to have to stay in better shape.
Yeah.
So I'll come throw some to you.
There you go.
Thanks, Chase.
Thank you.
All right, that's Chase Roberts. Let's go over some key dates leading to football from where we sit. July 4th, Stadium of Fire, Rascal Flats. Big 12 Media Days, July 8th and 9th at Frisco, Texas. I'm sure Chase will be there representing the squad. July 29th, the season premiere of After Further Review. BYU reports to the fall camp. We're figuring around the 30th.
Yeah, about July 30th.
Like and look at this.
31st, July 31st.
First game announced.
NFL Hall of Fame game, the Lions and the Chargers as usual. So there you go.
Isn't that cool?
July 31st.
Whenever there's a game on the schedule, you just know it's close.
Yeah.
And the NFL schedule is coming out May 14th for the whole season. And we'll spend some time on the Cougars and where they'll be. We do know Jaron Hall was waived by the Seahawks. So that's not good. He's looking for a place.
My bet is that he has enough experience now that I think he'll find a place. So
I hope so.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys playing quarterback none of us have ever heard of.
Yeah, Darius Laster that we just talked about a little bit ago with Chase signed a free agent deal with the Jaguars. And Isaiah Bagna, it was drafted by the Hamilton Sabercats in the CFL. So
yeah, that's awesome. So a couple of Cougars going up north. Why not?
Yeah,
you got to get a job.
Absolutely.
Coming up later in the show, AJ Debansa in our Wise Guys studio. Get your questions ready for that. Chase, thank you. It's great to see you. Chase is off to Israel with 6 of his teammates. That'll be a lot of fun. Our next guest is a BYU grad who spent his career making movies and is the director of the new documentary Sharing Aloha, which gives folks a look at the Polynesian Cultural Center like never before. And it's our pleasure to welcome Blair Treu to the Wise Guys. Aloha.
Hey, aloha. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah,
this is a big night for us. You're part of it.
I'm a big Chase Roberts
fan.
fan.
Chase Roberts. You got you coming up, and then AJ's coming on right after you.
I just got a nice little selfie with Chase.
There you go.
Send to my buddy Will Farron just to prove that I was here.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
So
That's
there
awesome.
you go.
That's right. You're close to Will. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
his parents. We've been friends for 35 years.
Yeah, and the premiere here in Orem at the Sarah.
Will was there.
Will was there,
Yeah.
and we did some pictures with Will, and Blair invited us to come too. And I didn't realize that you had such a good connection with Will's folks. So
Yeah.
When he kicked that field goal, did you go nuts?
I was jumping up and down in the living room. I was so excited.
As we would
so
expect. When you walked off your campus here in 1985 with your degree, could you imagine the journey you were going to be on?
No, you only hope that you're going to get some opportunities, but you never know what's going to come your way.
Yeah.
And so, you just have to kind of work your way through small stuff and then some bigger stuff and some more small stuff and, Disney, Nickelodeon, those kinds of things. And then, that I think the thing has been exciting for me is to be involved in these types of projects where it's more than just entertainment, more than just commerce. It's about a deeper purpose.
When you had this conversation with Cheryl and her parents that you were going to be a filmmaker, this is what you were going to do, this is how you were going to pay the bills, and this is how you're going to take care of your family. How did that go?
Yeah, it was just kind of a blank stare. It's like, really? I mean, could it be maybe an engineer? Well, I don't have the brains to be an engineer. So, I tried a business degree and that didn't work out for me. So I just didn't feel like I could do anything else than to be a storyteller. And so it's been awesome. And I've been very fortunate to stay busy and just, to have a pretty decent career for a pretty long period of time.
What surprised you the most about being a filmmaker? Where you just go, wow.
Well, that's a good question. I don't get that very often. I'd probably say, you never, what surprised me is how much you just don't know. I mean, there's guys around you who do such great work. And I guess I just didn't think it was going to be this hard, if I'm being honest. It was not easy. So, you go into it with kind of this pie in the sky, I'm going to be great. And you need that to push through. I think any athlete would need that, right?
Yeah.
But it's a lot harder than you think it's going to be.
And when you guys moved the family down to Southern California, right?
Yeah, in the beginning.
And in the beginning to kind of get your start down, Hollywood that's where it's at. That's where you go if you're going to be a filmmaker. And how do you even get going? And you say, I do little stuff. Nickelodeon and Disney and all these things don't sound like little stuff to us.
I didn't start there.
Yeah, you were working with major filmmakers making big time films, but how do you even get started? You come out of BYU and then you go down to LA and just like, hey, here I am. How do you even get going?
Well, you have to do a lot of little projects to show that you can work with a budget, you can finish something, and then it's watchable. So it's like, okay, he didn't have much to work with here, but it's not bad. It's pretty entertaining. Let's give him a little bit more in this next one. So you do anything from promotionals, TV commercials. You start short, and then you get a little bit longer into the longer formats as time goes on.
Sylvia's on the live stream from Wisconsin. Tracy joining us from Raleigh, North Carolina. Filmmaker Blair Treu is on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus and distributed by the Deseret News. If you've ever been to a movie set, you will know this. The most patient person ever has to be the director of the film because it is so tedious.
It is.
I mean,
It's
everything.
like
A plane goes by, stop. How did that not drive you nuts?
It does. It does. I mean, on the set, actually, most of the time, people wouldn't know this, but I'm raging.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an intense because I build my day by 5-minute increments. I know what shot I'm supposed to be on. I know what kind of coverage I need, and it's planned out, and you have to know that by 9:30 in the morning you got to be on shot number 3, and by 4 in the afternoon you got to be by shot 45. Yeah. And it's all laid out. And so if it doesn't go as well, you've got to have kind of these are the must-haves, and then these are the would-like-to-haves, and you've always got to have a backup plan because it never goes as planned.
Blair's directed me before.
That's right.
Because, and this is a fun project. And by the way, BYU Cougar 84 says the Paper Brigade is one of my favorite movies ever. So
that was a fun one to make.
Yeah, so there you go.
Geese and children and animals and kids.
Yeah, there you go. But Blair was the brains behind the missionary training videos. That are the safety videos, the safety zone.
That's right. The safety
zone. The first presidency decided they want to remake these safety videos for the missionary department, and they came to Blair, who was a great filmmaker. They said, "Can you do something fun with this that the missionaries will actually want to watch?" And so he rounded up Spencer and Jerem and I, and
we wrote it just for Spencer and Jerem because we wanted to do kind of a talk show format, a sports format, where you could have banter back and forth, and you could have replays, and you could do some fun things. And so the challenge was missionary safety. Now, just say that. Can you think of anything?
Exciting.
Yeah, can you think of anything?
Doesn't sound exciting.
Like how to hang wallpaper, right? So, and so we took it on with the idea that let's do what we need to do to see if we can move the needle. And we were excited because we actually did, with your help and Spencer and Jerem.
I made a guest appearance to co-host P-Day Safety.
Nice. Yeah.
And Gifford Nielsen was on an episode.
And Giff came on and hosted. Yeah.
A lot of things go wrong on P-Day.
Well,
I do know that.
Dave and I have done live broadcasts and shows to millions of people. And I get asked more often than anything, especially if I'm in a foreign country and we run into missionaries, they go, "Hey, this is going to be a really weird question, but are you the safety guy from P-Day Safety?" I'm like, "I am the safety guy."
Great.
We have to watch that once a quarter. I've seen you 8 times on my mission already.
That's awesome. That's great.
Well, Blair, can you watch a movie? Can you go to the theater and watch a movie without going, "Well, that's a bad shot," or that edit didn't work?
It's hard. I usually come out of the theater disappointed because either I'm mad that I couldn't have made that because it was so good, or I just wasted 2 hours.
So it's ruined movies together.
Yeah, but that's just part of it.
Yeah.
How often do you see something and go, "Oh man, this would make a good movie"?
All the time, especially in the doc space, because I work in both feature film, episodic television, as well as documentary. So in documentary, every time I see anything happen on the field, sports related, I'm always thinking, "Oh, there's got to be a story behind it."
Oh yeah.
Where did most of your ideas come from?
Well, in the early days, it was somebody would send me a script, and I just had to read it and try to absorb it and see, okay, is this something I think I could tell? Or in the case of like Sharing Aloha, I went out there and met these kids who come from 15 million square miles of the Pacific, these Polynesian kids. And there were so many stories to choose from. These kids come from really difficult circumstances. And, it's just tough getting there, tough staying there, and then tough to graduate from there. And think what they get. They get equivalents of what a Division I scholarship used to be. They get a full ride scholarship,
school and
housing,
room and board.
Yep, health insurance, the whole 9 yards.
You've made, as we mentioned, Hollywood director, worked with the Disney Channel. You've made music videos, all kinds of church productions. We could go through a bunch of the church things that you've made that I know you've been involved in, including Meet the Mormons, which was a really, really fun project. In 2014, BYU TV Productions, you Granite Flats. So this Sharing Aloha that just premiered, I just went to the premiere just not that long ago. We have a video clip that we want to show of this. How did that even come about? You said you met these kids, and before we show the clip, how did you even get involved in that project and get it going?
Well, I had been to PCC, Polynesian Cultural Center, a couple times just as a tourist, right? I'd also had connections with Kenny Numatalolo when I did the story on the Navy head coach.
Meet the Mormons.
So there was kind of this connection to the Polynesian community, and where there's Polynesians, there's football, right? Mm-hmm. And so there was that connection. But one of the stories that never made it into Meet the Mormons was about a young man who was the lead character in the night show. Oh. And I didn't know it at the time, but that was what was preparing me to do the larger story of this is like 8 years after.
Yeah.
And so the footage that we shot on him. He ended up working his way back into the story, and we put him in the doc. So that's how it came to be. And they have it's privately funded, and so it's kind of, how do I describe that? Privately funded, but also within the approval of the Polynesian Cultural Center. And so they came to me and said, hey, we want to do something that tells this backstory of where these kids come from and what we're all about. And we all agreed that it really had to be serviced by the stories of the kids. That had to be front and center. Not, how many fish do we eat at the PCC every day and how many tourists do we serve? It's really got to be about the journey of these kids that come to the PCC.
And literally is changing lives.
Yeah, literally. It really is.
Not just for the kids' families, for the kids' communities.
Whole community.
The PCC provides an opportunity for kids to come from all over Polynesia and literally changes the lives.
Yeah. And you get a chance to, if you've been to the PCC, you get to meet these fresh-faced kids that are just so pure and so awesome. And you get a chance to go behind the scenes and see what they go through, to be in the night show and the rehearsals and the schedules and the late night studies that they got to do. It's pretty tough.
We've got a clip. DJ's got it ready. A 2-minute clip of Sharing Aloha. Take a look.
From the very beginning, I felt like I was going to have some issues fitting in.
All I wanted to do was to prove to my parents I'm not a failure.
Everyone is big, Polynesian-looking, and I'm here, small, Asian, skinny, Filipino-looking kid. I'm gonna see if they're gonna take me, and hopefully they do.
Good morning and welcome. We're excited to have you here with us today.
You have to audition in front of everybody.
I was so nervous and so scared.
I don't blame them for being nervous.
It can be overwhelming.
The first number will be 14.
You ever watch Gladiator? You win the crowd, you win your freedom.
Female fire knife dancers are very rare.
It's a male-dominated sport, but for us to pull it off on the big stage when we feel like we did really good, I think we know it.
Imagine dancing for 90 minutes solid, hard.
People say we're slave labor. People say that we're selling our culture for money.
Take a picture, it lasts longer.
Is it cultural appropriation? I call it cultural survival.
It's not just about performing. This is about sharing your culture. This is about sharing who you are as a people.
They didn't go on Google. They learned it at the knees of their ancestors.
A lot of us kids were able to come from the islands, be able to get an education because of this place.
Most students are in debt almost for life.
Atia Chipsao.
Students are able to get an education almost for free, which is unheard of.
I found a family here.
It's been going good. They haven't kicked me out yet, so.
It has made the rounds with the film festivals. Why do people love this?
I think it speaks on a very human level. And if anybody's ever been a student, when you have to balance the academic side and wherever you're working, whether it's flipping burgers or performing in a night show or wherever, it's not easy. Or as an athlete. These kids are athletes.
Right.
And they have injuries. They get burned, sometimes. They hurt knees, they hurt elbows. And it's, I think that's it. I think it's just overcoming the struggle. It's the human journey. It's what all of you have experienced. Each of you in your careers have had to deal with things to get where you are.
Well, plus there's something about fire. When the fire dancers come out to start the fourth quarter at Lavelle Edwards Stadium, place goes nuts. Yeah. And I was thinking of that as I was watching that clip.
They do. They really do. And I got a chance to try that, and I'm glad I only did it once, and I dropped it right away.
And these kids, not only do you follow them at their time at the Polynesian Cultural Center, but you actually went to the homes, back to the islands with some of these kids and told the backstory behind what their family life's like and how they got there, right?
That's right. We went to Fiji. We went to Samoa. And Tonga. We spent a lot of time in Tonga, Tahiti as well. And we follow one student in particular. I don't want to give too much away, but in Tonga. And so for the Tongan community, we have some sneak previews coming up in Los Angeles, and we just had one in San Francisco, and they absolutely love it because it really does. They come up to me and say, wow, this is our story. And it is their story. It's not my story. I was honored to be able to tell it, but this is their story. The Polynesian community at large, but the Tongan community especially, there's really well represented.
Filmmaker and BYU grad Blair Treu on the Wise Guys. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com all over the world. So among the actors that you've worked with and bossed around as the director and filmmaker, Christopher Lloyd, Shelley Long, Dom DeLuise, Mickey Rooney, Vivica A. Fox, and others. Do you have a favorite?
You know, I was told in the early going on a production, it was a Disney Channel movie. It was... what was it called? It was Phantom of the Megaplex. It's been a perennial favorite around Halloween. Then Mickey Rooney was going to be really tough.
Yeah.
And so I was a little bit nervous about that, but I found that to be just the opposite. Because on day one, I said, look, Mr. Rooney, tell me what you want me to call you. You've been in 500 films. Yeah. You've forgotten more than I'll ever learn. And so, you know what? I've got some ideas. We'll just bat them around and see how they fall off the truck. And I'm going to be, I'm open. And let's just have some fun. And he was just an absolute delight to work with.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I found that most of them, Katherine Heigl's another one that sometimes has a little bit of reputation that can be pretty difficult. Not so for me. She was just absolutely delightful to work with.
What attributes make you a great actor or actress?
Being able to be vulnerable, being open, being willing to work with your co-stars to get, to receive and to give feedback, not just during the scene, but after, to run lines, to not just go to the trailer and really be a team player. Another guy was, do you remember McHale's Navy?
Oh, yeah.
Who was the lead in that? Now I'm spacing.
He wasn't the dude in Hogan's Heroes, was it?
No, he was in Marty as well. Why can't I think of his name now all of a sudden? I'm just totally blanking. He never left the set. He's an old-time actor. He just always wanted to be there. And I'm just totally blanking. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, what makes a filmmaker great?
You just have to be really tenacious, I think. I've never really considered myself to be all that gifted or talented, but I do work really hard.
Yeah.
And whatever gifts, I think, to take a little cue from what Chase said, I really appreciate the football team, the emphasis on the spiritual side of things. So I've always felt that whatever gifts I might have, they're on loan. They're on loan from our Heavenly Father, and that's where they come from. And He can give them and He can take them away. And so if we're not in tune there, I cannot tell you how many times He saved me on Meet the Mormons and on this show, to have little ideas that would come into my head, but I know where they come from. And so I think that's the other part that I just can't take credit for that. That comes from a greater power.
Isn't that the key to life, to remember where it all comes from? And that's some of the first things we forget once things start to work out.
Yeah, it's true. Hollywood can get inside your head and make you feel like if you're not careful, you can fall into that self-important, that range pretty quickly. That happens at festivals a lot. And but that's where those gifts come from. And I just feel really lucky to be part of that great work.
I know you've loved this project. It's been as you've worked on it, you've fallen in love with these kids and with this project, and you're really proud of this work. And it's won a bunch of awards at the film festival. So what's the hope for this?
Well, the hope is that people will see it, first of all. So it comes out in September. I'll just give you a little sense of the rollout. So it's going to come out in theaters in September in limited theatrical release. Markets such as, the Utah, Wasatch Front, Las Vegas, probably Arizona, Texas, maybe Orlando, Hawaii for sure, Northern and Southern California, and maybe some other markets as well. But by Hollywood standards, a limited release. And then the hope is that enough people go see it on that opening weekend that it'll stick around for a while. And then we're trying to crack that top algorithm at Amazon Prime or Netflix, so that when it gets on there, it'll stream and it'll you don't have to search for it. It'll just show up. And the whole goal is really simple. The PCC exists to fund scholarships for these kids. Every dime that this movie makes is going back to the PCC. It's not going to me. And it's just going back to PCC. And so that's one thing I'd want the viewers to kind of understand. And that is all the revenue from the streaming also goes back to PCC. But the more people that go to the PCC and lay that money down and go in and buy a ticket, support these kids. And that's where it goes. And so the goal is to just raise more awareness of the PCC, and people who might go to the islands and maybe skip it and go do something else. Having seen this film, we hope that they'll actually go to the PCC.
It's a great, there's a great vibe there.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, that's awesome. 5 questions now for Blair Treu, presented by Strategy Square. Revolutionize your company's social media presence with Chantal at strategysquare.co. Now we're going to get into some really deep stuff.
You're not even you just have to the first thing that comes to your mind on these.
Okay.
So, and Chase has done a similar thing before. We did his 5 favorite touchdowns because we already did an exercise like this with him before. So since this is your first time on, hopefully not the last, bring on for the next project. Or when this thing just goes huge, then you can come back and tell us how it went huge. So
let's hope for that. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to start with this. Your favorite sports movie?
Oh, it has to be Moneyball.
Moneyball. Okay, from a director's perspective, was it really well made?
Absolutely. It's in probably my top 10.
Yeah, I love it.
Not just sports movies, but all time.
Brad
all
Pitt
genres.
is awesome.
I thought it was interesting how they tied in real actual game footage with then what they recreated with actors.
It really was
as
seamless.
part of it.
Yeah.
It really was.
It was a
really well-made movie.
Yeah.
So that's a great one. Your favorite action movie?
Action movie. Probably, and this is back when I was young and impressionable as a young filmmaker, probably The French Connection.
French Connection.
But that wasn't really an action movie. I don't know. That was more of a drama, but there were some chase scenes that are just
it's a classic movie, though.
Yeah.
So
French Connection. Was that with Gene Hackman?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Your favorite animated movie?
Probably, again, it's an oldie, but maybe it's because of the influence of my kids. It probably was, that's a tough one. I can't lie, but that's a tough one. Ariel.
The Little Mermaid?
Yeah, Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid.
Because, the music was amazing in that film.
Yeah.
So that one.
So Lion King was on TV the other night,
Yeah.
and I was flipping around, and I had it on, and Diane came in and saw me. She's watching cartoons, and I go, you know what? This Lion King, they did a great job with that. The story and then the animation. I know they came back and did a
live action
one. Yeah. But as far as cartoons go, it drew adults in because the story was good.
Yeah, it's all about story. It always is about story.
Yeah. Hey, this cartoon that my grandkids watch called Bluey, to me is I feel like it's terrible animation.
The kids love it.
But the stories, you start to watch the stories, you get drawn in, and then you're starting to feel bad for Bluey, and you're and it's just.
I've not seen it.
Yeah, the stories are so compelling.
It's coming.
Now I see why the kids like it. Visually, it's not great, but man, the stories. Okay, how about your favorite movie star?
To work with or just to watch?
Just to watch.
Just to watch.
I'd probably have to say Anthony Hopkins.
Oh yeah, classic.
How come?
He is so. I really appreciate the fact that he's very diverse. He can play anything. I mean, think about Silence of the Lambs, which again, hopefully many of your audience has seen the G-rated, version.
Right.
It's much shorter.
Yeah.
But when you think about Silence of the Lambs, you think about World's Fastest Indian, or I don't know what that popped in, but he can play anything.
Anything. Yeah.
A grandpa, just a very gentle character to a serial killer.
Well, let's follow. We'll do a 4B then. What about your favorite actor you've ever worked with? Favorite movie star you've ever worked with?
I was a big Redford fan back in the day, and I had a chance to work with him on a couple of some spots, but so it's a tie. Probably him.
Robert Redford,
because of on a personal level, and Kevin Bacon.
And Kevin Bacon.
Because I was Kevin's stunt double in Footloose.
Oh wow!
And I got to know him, and so I got to know him really well.
Wait! Don't just skip past that.
Kevin Bacon stunt double in Footloose.
Well, were you in for the dancing parts?
No. He had a dance double, a gymnastics double, a couple of stunt doubles, and a stand-in. I was there every day because I was a stand-in, and I wanted to be there so I could watch the director work with him and work with all the key roles.
Yeah.
And he is the nicest guy, you'll ever want to meet.
So he's the guy that it seems like you do want to hang out with him in the film, and you probably do want to hang out with him.
Oh, yeah. I would hang out any day. I mean, we used to walk around the mall together at night with Sarah Jessica Parker back before he was a big star. And we walk around and I'd say, you're going to be a big star when this comes out. And he said, who knows?
So if we go back and watch the old version, will we see you standing in any of that?
No, you'll see me. They did put me in. I think I had a line in one. Well, I had a line in one scene because an actor came in and the director, whatever, didn't like it. He said, "Blair, will you just go in and do that?"
What'd you say?
Try it. It's when he's washing his car and some wacko drives by and said, "Hey, McCormick, sorry to hear you got caught." And that's me.
That's
yelling
you?
out of a car. Yeah.
That's funny.
We have a movie star here. Not just a filmmaker. We got a movie star.
By the way, John Franklin says, "I watched your Safety Zone this morning, Blaine." Like, what? He watched our show this morning. And then, what are your top 3 movies and directors of all time? They're like, people are loving this, but I like that Conrad Monson says, "I love Bluey." So there you go. That's great stuff. So the last question is your favorite BYU moment.
Boy, I'll tell you, the 84 championship for sure. I was a senior that year.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this, Blaine. I tried to walk on in 82.
What?
As a kicker.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Who was the kicker?
Lee Johnson. I tried to walk on as a punter.
It's hard to beat a guy that played in the NFL for 19 years, right?
I kicked 3 times for Coach Pella.
Yeah.
And I kicked a nice tight spiral, but it didn't have anywhere near the hang time or the range and the distance.
Thunderfoot was just launching him.
I watched him, and Coach just looked at me like, "Do you want to kick anymore?" I go, "No, I'm good."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Keep kicking, it would bring rain,
The 84 championship. What a great way to wrap up your BYU time.
I appreciate that more than you know, right? So
yeah, I know you do.
So
we're so glad you came on the show.
No, it's an honor for me to be here.
It's great to have BYU guys here that have done great things.
We did, and we focus most of the time on sports, but we anybody that has ties to BYU that are doing great things in the world, we want to spotlight it. And so you're one of those, and we're glad you'd come on and share what you've done. This film, Sharing Aloha. People can go to sharingalohathemovie.com and get information on it. Broad release, limited release in September, winning all kinds of film festival awards. Congrats on what you've done, and thanks for inviting me to the premiere. And wow, it really was something.
Well, it was great to have you, and it's great to be here. Love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
All right.
So you said hello to Chase Roberts on your way in. On your way out, you can say hi to AJ Debansa over there.
There's AJ.
I will.
The top recruit in the world.
That's awesome.
Blair, thank you for being here.
Thanks so much, Blair.
Thanks for having me.
We love you, brother. Thanks for all the good work you're doing.
Thanks, man.
And next time you watch Footloose, I'll be watching for that
can you
truck
believe
driving by.
Kevin Bacon stunt double in Footloose.
And he gets to yell at Kevin Bacon. That's fantastic.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Great fun. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Blair.
Let's turn to some basketball. Opening night doubleheader, November 3rd, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. It appears to be set now. BYU against Villanova, and then Arizona and Florida. What an opening night twosome there.
We got to figure out how you and I get down there and do a pre and post or something for that game.
It feels like we should.
Yeah, I feel like we should.
And the rest of the field is now set for the Jimmy V Classic on December 9th at Madison Square Garden as part of a doubleheader. BYU will face Clemson, and UConn's going to meet Florida. Both those games will be televised on ESPN. How about that?
That's pretty amazing. And a lot of this is because of our next guest, and also with guys like Richie coming back and Rob Wright coming in to the fold. A lot of eyes on BYU. And let's talk about Joe Lunardi's spring bracketology.
Yeah.
So he's giving it way too early. Here's my brackets before the season even starts, and I love it. Gives us something to talk about. He's got BYU as a 2 seed.
Two seed.
He's got Houston.
For the big dance.
Houston is a 1. Which they should be with all those dudes coming back.
Right.
Arizona is a 3. Iowa State is a 3. Texas Tech is a 5. Kansas is a 7. And Baylor is a 9. And how about that? So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that are 9 seeds or higher. You've got 2 3 seeds, a 1 seed, and a 2 seed. It seems to me like preseason basketballs get a little more respect than Big 12 is in football.
Oh, yeah,
right?
For sure, by about 4 teams.
Yeah, we had 14, 15, 16, and 17 in the preseason top 20 for football, but you're talking like they're talking about 4 teams ranked in the top 12.
What kind of league are we going to have?
It's going to be fun.
Hey, 6'7", Tyler Marus from Idaho has been added to the roster, averaged 9.7 points, shot 38.2% from the three-point line last season. Last November against BYU, he scored 17 for Idaho. They got pounded, but he had a good game, which you and I called on ESPN Plus. And so the Cougars pick up a 6'7" three-point shooter just to buy our next guy a little more time. You can't triple team him when you got to guard everybody else.
And AJ can take it to the hole and dunk on their heads, or if they decide to triple team him, you kick it out to Tyler, and Tyler will knock down threes. That's what he does.
Our next guest is the top basketball recruit in the world, who went on ESPN last December and announced he was bringing his talents to BYU. We look forward to calling his games too. Tonight, our pleasure to welcome AJ Debansa to the Wise Guys. How you doing?
I'm good.
You just came from class. How was it?
Class was good. It was writing and rhetorics, so doing a lot of typing, doing a lot of writing.
That's fun stuff. How did school just start last week? Is that when it started? So this is you're in week 2 of school.
Yeah.
So now you're a college kid. The whole
student.
Prep high school stuff that's old
over,
school now, right?
And practice started today, right?
Yeah.
So school's a weekend. Practice started today. Mm-hmm. How was practice today?
No, practice was good. It was intense. I was tired, getting used to that. The lane 94 feet is different from high school.
Mm-hmm.
Getting used to the line being farther back. But it was good. Just seeing the guys, seeing the coaches, and just getting a feel.
Was just about everybody here?
No.
How many did you have out there today?
I want to say 7.
7?
Yeah, 7 guys.
So
Did you light them up?
That what?
Did you light them up?
I wouldn't say light them up, but I was doing my part.
On your social media accounts, which we'll go over in a moment, you teased today that you had a big announcement, and then we saw it this morning, and we'll let you talk about it again. This is going to reveal more of AJ than we've ever seen before. What do you got?
So I just launched my YouTube channel. A lot of people just see me on the court and just see highlights. So this is the chance for supporters just to see like what I do off the court, behind the scenes videos, charity events, me being with my family, travel days, just like a little bit of everything besides the highlights, because you're gonna get the highlights everywhere.
So it's almost like a day in the life every day.
Yeah.
And you post something quite often, or are you gonna try to post something every day on the site?
Every day is gonna be tough due to the editing,
Mm-hmm.
but we're definitely gonna try to be weekly or definitely like monthly.
Part of the reason you came to BYU is there were a wide variety of ways to expand your brand.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we'll talk about social media in a moment, but this is another one of bringing people into your world through technology.
Yeah, it is. I mean, a lot of people like be in my comments just saying like, we want to see more, and I've posted a couple like behind the scenes videos, and people kind of like it. So I mean, they want to see how you live. Like, I'm not just a basketball player.
When do you say you've seen enough? And you're just at the start of this career that's projected to be superhuman. But at some point you got to go, okay, you know what? It's Tuesday night and the world doesn't get any more AJ for a couple hours.
I mean, I love my supporters, so I'm gonna give them as much as I can, and they love me. So I mean, it's just a mutual like, thing that you got to do. Yeah.
And you've had a chance to meet the BYU fan base quite a bit.
Sure.
We were doing the game when you came and we're in the Marriott Center,
mm-hmm.
and they kind of introduced you after you had committed. Dave and I were doing that game. So you've had exposure to BYU fans. And when Dave and I started this thing a few years ago, we've been calling games for 30 years, and we just all of a sudden realized, wait a minute, people, and you would see on this chat, hey, they're here from Japan, they're in Europe, they're down in South America. Like, BYU fans are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
What have you heard from the guys? Like, I know you talked to Yegor this last year as you're getting ready to come, about this fan base, and what are you most looking forward to with this BYU fan base?
Yeah, we heard a lot, but I seen it firsthand. Like, when I first got introduced, that was like a crazy feeling, because I was just on the court and I just seen the amount of lights like on people's flash cams. And then I think it was the West Virginia game.
Mm-hmm.
I went inside the rock and like went all the way up the rock, and like it was like crazy. Like, I like engaging with the fans.
By the way, no one's ever done that.
Yeah.
So, hey, where's AJ? He's in the rock. And it's like, there's something different about this guy.
Yeah.
And that night you came and took your, the day that you announced, or the day after, where you took your victory lap at halftime, and the fans stood up and gave you an applause. They had never met you before, just seen you on TV. You hadn't met them before. And what, you stuck your hands up in the air and strolled around. Did you know what you were doing, or just kind of?
No, I didn't know what I was doing. They just told me, I'm going to get introduced and go where you please. I didn't know where to go. I just went in the circle around the court. And then in the second half, I ended up going to the rock, and they actually showed so much love.
That's great stuff. Hey, you did great. We thought you did great. You did all the right things. What movie was it where Will Ferrell's like, what am I supposed to do with my hands?
That's exactly how I felt.
Yeah, what do you?
What movie was that?
My hands were in the air for like a minute and a half, and I'm like, wait, when do I put them down? Because I already ran past like their bench, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
What do I do with my hands? No, you did great. We were proud of you. So obviously you knew kind of the roster that was coming together, who's coming back, and now some great additions to this roster. As you look at it now, as it sits, what are you most excited about with this group that you get to play with?
No, it's just very exciting just me being able to compete against different guys, because when you're in high school, you compete against the same guys for 4 years, essentially. So I'm competing against older guys. We could say better competition because they're older and they're more wiser. And it's just exciting to play with those type of guys that we recruited. So Richie Saunders is coming back. Keba Keita's coming back. Dawson Baker's coming back. And then we have new add-ons like Tyler just committed, Rob Wright committed. And we're going to have a few more that y'all don't know about. But we'll have a
few more.
We know a little, but we're not allowed to say. And neither are you, so we'll all stay out of trouble, right?
Yeah.
Before you announced, Xavier Staten was the highest recruit in the history of the program. And then you announced, and then he kind of got forgotten a little bit. But you played with him at Utah Prep, and he comes in as a young freshman, might want to put on some pounds, but you can't teach 7 feet
at all.
What's his future look like here?
Nah, it's amazing. Like, me and him are both freshmen. We both have the same classes. We both have the same like journey, kind of, because we got the same target weight and everything like that. So I mean, y'all are going to see. Like, I don't know why they forgot about him, to be honest. But you can't teach height. You can't teach his second jump. Like, he blocks so many shots. Like, you can't teach a lot of stuff that he does.
There's a lot of hype already for this team. Most of the preseason polls have BYU in the top 10. How do you feel about all that?
I mean, it's good, but I mean, anything like that comes up before the season, like, it's just like, I mean, you shouldn't really pay attention to it because we don't even have our full team yet.
Right.
So it's like, and other teams don't have their full teams yet. And you've seen, like, last year, there was guys that was ranked high that dropped, and those guys that was low that jumped. So, I mean, you shouldn't really pay attention to the early, like, mock rankings or whatever like that.
You know, in November, we just we're talking about some of the announcements recently. You're going to play down T-Mobile in Las Vegas. In December, Madison Square Garden in New York. Bunch of games in front of the Rock, which you've had a chance to enjoy.
Yeah.
Do you get excited about being able to go play in these historic arenas in front of huge crowds?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always a dream to play in those type of, like, especially the Garden. Like, everybody just dreams of playing there. So to be able to play there in college is just surreal.
Well, and you've had the privilege of playing all over the world already, but these are mega arenas here. But to put on the home jersey that says Cougs, to go out there and play in front of the Rock, what's that going to be like?
I don't know, because I've been in the Rock at every game, so I don't know how it is to be on the court. I mean, hopefully it distracts the other team. That's what they should.
Will it make you nervous? Do you still get nervous?
Not really. Like, it's more just playing. I mean, maybe my first game here I would, but I mean, it's not really like nerves. It's just like, go do you.
Just go do you.
Yeah.
Go do you.
So, little butterflies maybe the first time in the center, right? And those are okay, right? Butterflies are okay.
Yeah, that's like when you play at the Garden, like, you go have, like, you go look
you better,
around and
right?
be like, yeah, this is crazy. But when you get to playing, it's just playing.
Kevin Young had a great first year, bringing this team together, getting them to play together. You know, comes from this great NBA background. How do you think Kevin Young can prepare you, first of all, to play in the Big 12, which is one of the best college basketball leagues, if not the best?
Yeah.
Over the last 10 years, it's been the best college basketball league in the country, right?
For sure.
So, and then secondly, to get you ready to go play in the NBA. What can Kevin do to help you, first to be ready for the Big 12, and then to be ready for the NBA in a year?
Who said it's a year?
So, okay.
Right. Well, we say it's a year, but
I'm just saying it's a year. Like, you just made that statement. That's going to be a year.
Okay.
No one else is going to be here.
So we'll see how it goes, right? We'll see how it goes, right?
Yeah. But definitely, he coached some of my favorite players, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. And for him to, I'm not going to say step down because college is still a high level, but obviously the NBA is the highest level. For him to step down and coach college basketball, he's just going to bring that wisdom that he's done for teaching those type of guys and instill it in all of us, not just me. So that's why I think we're very good last year, because we have NBA level coaching at the college level, and you're not really getting that.
And you mentioned Kevin, of course, but he's assembled this staff of guys that have this vast experience, a bunch of NBA experience, international experience, Olympic team experience coaching. What's this experience been like here just in this first couple of weeks that you've been here working out with, not just with Kevin, but the rest of the staff?
Nah, I mean, Kevin, he didn't work me out the first week. I don't think it was allowed by NCAA rules, so I think today was the first day. But working out with the grad assistants that's played overseas, that's played college basketball, that are fresh out of college basketball, it's been good work.
We have plenty of props around your game. We want to give you a shout out because you listen to your parents. And I've heard you tell the story of the BYU. Wasn't on your list.
Yeah.
But your dad said, put it on your list.
Yeah.
Your parents came here first to tour the university before you ever came.
Yeah.
How about these two? And are they the reason that you're sitting here tonight?
Nah, they are. I wouldn't even be alive if it wasn't
Well,
them.
that's true.
That's very true.
That's the main thing. But yeah, I mean, it's just them instilling like hard work into me and my sisters is why me and my sisters do what we do.
Yeah, and I know that both your mom and dad are very, very involved in your life, and will continue to be while you're here at your BYU experience. What's been that? What's that been like for you to have folks that are so involved and so supportive of you?
Nah, it's good because I'm a big family guy, and I do everything for my family and with my family. So I mean, it's just good just having my family around, knowing that I got unconditional love to left and right of me.
When recruits come in, and there'll be more, as you say, and they come to a football game, for example, you were at the Arizona game.
Yeah.
And fans might wonder, does it really make a difference if we cheer their name or make a sign or whatever? Because every school they go to, they're going to try to do that. And your story is that yes, I mean, the Arizona game was how impactful in your decision making?
I mean, it wasn't the main reason, obviously, because I went to a lot of visits that showed great just family atmospheres. But I mean, I think they were the loudest that cheered, so I guess you can count that as like a low boost. But I'm not gonna say it was the most impactful moment. Obviously, basketball. I'm not there for football, but I'm there for the family atmosphere for sure.
And that reception is helpful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a strong social media presence, and we put it on our live stream for everyone to see. But let's run them down. All right, this is your starting lineup. Okay, so you got Instagram at aj.debansa.
Yeah, Debansa.
Debansa. And on X, you got at AJ_Debansa.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, you have AJ.Debansa. On Snap, at AJ_Debansa3. Where's the 3? Where's that coming from?
I'm number 3.
Is that the number? Okay, there
that's
you go.
the Snap differential. And then YouTube. That's the empire right there.
Yeah, starting 5.
There we go. When's that? When the YouTube channel? When are you going to start putting content on that?
I think we'll drop Friday because we're making a little video from my McDonald's recap.
Okay, yeah, we're going to talk about that too. I want to talk about that. So
y'all get a little behind the scenes of what McDonald's was like. It was kind of tough because the restrictions that McDonald's has, which with all rights they do, like recording wise, so like we couldn't record all angles, all parts.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't really talk into the camera
because of the secret sauce and stuff. You can't have the secret. They can't film the secret sauce.
But you'll get a pretty good glimpse of what my point of view is like.
That's kind of fun. So let's talk about that. So that's tomorrow, right? Isn't tomorrow the day for the McDonald's?
I am going to McDonald's.
2:00?
Yeah.
At 2:00.
Yeah.
I think it's off Cougar Boulevard.
Working on the window, right?
Which is right across from the old Provo High School. So you'll be at the window tomorrow at 2:00?
I might be at the window. I might be at the cash register. I might be in the back flipping burgers.
So you're working at McDonald's tomorrow.
Yeah.
So what's up with that? What are you doing, Matt?
I just want to work at McDonald's. I never worked a real job.
Yeah.
So I want to see what it's like working at McDonald's.
So you're just going in, taking a shift for a little bit.
And it's in Provo, so just seeing the community, supporting the community.
It's a way to connect to the community for sure,
Exactly.
right? So if you want us, I have a feeling that the McDonald's going to be busy tomorrow.
It should be.
So starting at 2, how long are you going to be there?
I'll say 2 hours-ish.
Couple hours?
Yeah.
So a half shift. Right now someone's going, hey, that's a 4-hour shift that I do at McDonald's, but AJ's coming in for a half.
I love
half
it.
of that.
I love it.
I think that's cool. When you say you just want to be you, describe yourself to somebody. We've all seen the dunks and the threes and all that stuff, but
don't compare. Like, if you see me on the court, that's like a horrible like what's the word?
Representation of who you are,
of what I am. Like I'm like mad on the court. Like I just play angry. I'm just very passionate, but off the court I'm just chill. I think I'm funny. A lot of people laugh, but I might just be like corny. I don't know. But,
wait, do you have any good dad jokes?
No, my dad got the dad jokes. I'm not a dad, so I don't got the dad jokes. But yeah, I'm pretty chill. I don't really do anything but play basketball, chill with my family.
Yeah. So are you a big video game guy at all?
I'm not, which is surprising.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys do that. Kind of takes a little pressure off sometimes. So you're not big into that.
Nah, like in quarantine I was, and then I stopped. It got boring over time.
Yeah. So you're playing basketball when you have free time. Nothing. Family's important to you, I know. So spending time with sisters and mom and dad and doing all that.
But if you think about my day, like by the time I get home, like I only got like an hour and a half, and then I gotta just go to sleep.
Yeah, just gotta chill.
But when I do have free time, like I like traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite place that you've traveled to ever in your life?
China.
Wow.
China, Jamaica.
And do you have to always be playing when you go there? Because China, you went to play,
I
right?
went to play. No, I don't got to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you playing in Jamaica, or was that just for fun?
No, my mom's from Jamaica.
My wife and I go to Jamaica all the time. We were just there a couple of months ago. We love Jamaica.
What part?
So we're over in Negril.
Okay, so my mom.
We were on the west side,
the Mobay area.
She's from Mobay. Yeah, that's fun. It's beautiful. Oh my goodness, is there any better sand and water than there? Oh, it's gorgeous. And the food.
I'm not even there for the sand and water. I'm there for the food.
I was gonna say the food is something, right?
Yeah.
So. Here's a question on the stream. You play any other sports growing up?
Yeah, I played baseball at like 5, one season. Out.
That was it? You tapped
and then
out?
I played football for 3 years.
3 years?
And then quarantine hit, and I had a growth spurt, and then I was done.
Yeah.
But I was good.
So what did you play? Receiver, running back, quarterback? What?
I was a wideout, and I was a corner.
Yeah.
So I played both sides.
Yeah.
You know, Chase Roberts was on the show here earlier tonight, and they're still looking for another receiver.
Yeah.
Nah, I retired.
Here's what Chase said. We said, could you play basketball against AJ? And he goes, nah. And he goes, but if AJ tried to cover me a corner, I would take him to the house. And we're like, yeah, of course you would, right? You got to know. You think you could go out and cover Chase?
Yo, I don't bat. We can run it. Like when it's not raining outside, we can run it.
By the way, my money would be on you, even though we love Chase.
Yeah, we love Chase.
But catching a deep ball.
He is an NFL guy. He is an NFL wide receiver in the year, so keep that in mind.
How tall is he?
6'4". Yeah, you might be able to smother him.
If you throw the ball up,
yeah.
I think I'll get it before he gets it.
I think
the height of
he says he's going. He says he's going to run away from you on the route, though. Is what he says he's going to do.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be allowed. Just
but he did admit, like, he goes, nah, I'm not playing AJ in basketball.
Okay, so if he plays me in basketball, I'm not allowed to dunk. And if he plays me in football, he's not allowed to run away from me.
Okay.
All right.
Then I think you win both. If he can't run away from you, I think you win both.
We could sell that. We could have it in the McDonald's parking lot.
Yes, we could do that.
On your YouTube channel. We could put that on there.
That would be fun.
That would be something.
That'd be awesome.
Here's a question for you. How about these mountains, AJ? Have you done any hiking?
Have I done hiking? I went up. I didn't hike. I mean, technically I did. I didn't do it, but I watched the Red Bull Rampage, just like the mountain bikes that do the flips in the mountains.
Yeah.
I had to hike up to go watch it. So if that counts.
Anything that goes up's a hike.
Anything goes up. It's beautiful up there.
You haven't hiked the Y yet. That's straight uphill. That'll be something.
My academic advisor said I have to walk up it before
go up to the Y. Yeah. It's just a tradition that you got to do.
Yeah, it's cool once you get up there.
But there's not a lot of coolness getting from up there. So, and you should go up and grab lunch up at Sundance or something one day, so you can go up there and see that beautiful.
How long does that walk?
No, you can just drive up there in 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's 20. It's no hike. You just drive.
No,
but
there. You could hike from there. There's a beautiful hike to a waterfall. You could actually hike to the top of Mount Timpanogos if you want to. I don't do that anymore. That's too much. But it's a beautiful spot to just go up and walk around and have lunch, and right at the back of the mountain with a glacier on it. Gorgeous.
AJ, when this year's all said and done, if it is 1 year, maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3.
Yeah.
What do you want BYU fans to know about you that'll keep you connected with them for the rest of your life?
Now since I live here, like I'm always part of this community, so I always try to come back and do like community work here. I did it for Brockton. I'm from Brockton, but now this is my new home, so I'm going to definitely try to do it for Provo.
And you want to come back and finish your degree here at some point?
Yeah, my mom told me I definitely should graduate, so I think I am. Yeah. I'm not going to say I am. I think I am.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Follow your mom's advice.
What mom says. What mom says usually goes.
It usually goes, but it's just like, I want to be like a business major, and that's like very hard to like complete. And I maybe wouldn't be on campus for that.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to like do a lot of in-person classes to get like a business degree.
Hey, look, I think it took Danny Ainge 10 years to get his degree. But he got it.
Dan, you know.
So I should just beat Danny's 10 years
ago. Yeah.
No, like to be his. And I have to tell you, so my old teammate, Jim McMahon, you're too young to remember Jim. Dad probably remembers Jim. It's a Chicago Bears Super Bowl champ, Pro Bowl quarterback, phenomenal player. He just came back a few years ago and finished his. So yeah, and he was the Super 85 Bears, maybe the best NFL team of all time, certainly one of the top 3 of all time. He was the quarterback and Pro Bowler for that. So 85, he was in the pros, and he just finished his degree.
Like 37 years. He doesn't recommend the 37.
No, he said, dude, you definitely got to beat the 37-year.
A lot of people say if you don't do it right away or like between like 5 years, you probably won't go back.
Yeah, and then my other teammate, Steve Young. Your dad knows Steve Young too. I don't know if you know Steve Young, but Steve Young's
Steve. You met him at the ball game.
Oh, that's right, you met him. He's a Hall of Famer. He's the NFL Hall of Famer. And while he was playing in the NFL, he just kept coming back in the offseason going to law school. He has a law degree. And then after he retired, even though he was a Hall of Famer, he started a big private equity firm and has done phenomenal things because he just wanted to have the knowledge, just wanted to pursue knowledge. So that's always a good thing. Always a good thing. And we would always welcome you back here to do whatever you wanted to do.
For sure.
All right, a couple of questions, and we'll finish up with AJ. On the stream, Michael says, do your sisters play sports? Which ones? I know there's a volleyball.
Yeah, my younger sister played volleyball. And my older sister, she don't do sports no more. She used to play volleyball when she was in high school.
And she's a police officer, right? Did I get that right? Your older sister?
My dad was a police officer.
Okay.
My older sister's a model.
A model. Okay. All right. Somehow I got police there involved in your family. So your dad's a former police officer.
Yeah.
In Brockton?
Not Boston.
Oh, in Boston. In Boston. Very good.
And we understand that the Yankees are not on your favorite sports list as a Bostonian.
Yeah, I don't really watch baseball, but I do support the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everything else, Bostonian,
Bruins, Patriots. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's true blue right there.
Yeah, it is. I grew up in New York, Yankees fan, and then I went to a game. My friend was the voice of the Boston Red Sox, and I went and took the tour, and I was just so taken back by all the history and all that. I became a Red Sox fan. My friends think I'm an idiot.
So you're a Red Sox fan now?
I'm a Red Sox fan, and I'm from New York.
Should tell you a lot.
That's messed up, I know, but...
I mean, you're on our side. I'm not judging you.
Yeah, no, I know.
Trust me, he's going to say a lot of things they're going to judge him by, but that's
over
not
the years. We'll say we'll always say good things about you.
Here's 5 questions for AJ Debansa, presented by StrategySquare.co. You ready to go? Rapid fire.
Yeah. Top of your head, whatever comes. Okay. Right. Your favorite sports movie?
Like Mike.
Like Mike. Nobody's mentioned that one yet.
Like no,
but I like
that's
it.
A first.
So, your favorite singer or band?
I don't have a favorite band. I like a lot of singers.
Yeah, do you have like
what song?
Throw one or two out there that you.
Since we're in Utah, NBA YoungBoy, he lives here.
Yeah.
So
there's
Utah shout out. That's nice.
I'm surprised. You'd be surprised at how many singers at least have a house here in Utah and in the mountains.
But I like a lot of people.
Yeah, very good. Post Malone had a concert the other night. Post just lives right up in Murray.
For real?
Yeah, he lives up there. Jelly Roll was the let off, and then Post had a concert, but he lives here full time. So, okay, your favorite breakfast cereal?
Captain Crunch.
Classic.
That's his.
I knew why I liked you.
The berries or
he's no berries.
I don't need berries.
Are you no berries?
No berries.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
We have this discussion on the team. How do you eat Captain Crunch with no berries?
You gotta have the berries.
I did this
You gotta
morning.
have the berries. You hear that right there?
Yeah. Well, I'm old school.
You gotta have the berries. I've been having this conversation with him for
he doesn't get berries.
No, just straight.
He goes straight Captain Crunch.
Oh no,
that's nonsense, right?
That's not the same.
Yeah. I don't need a sideshow in there. I just have straight Captain Crunch.
Do you ever kind of eat the Captain Crunches for a while so that you have a couple of really big bites of Crunch Berries at the end? Have you ever tried that?
No, what you mean?
So you kind of pick out the regular Crunch Berry, the Crunches part, the little crunchy things.
Yeah.
Then you save 2 huge bites of just the Crunch Berries for the end. Have you ever done that?
Nah, I just eat the
cereal.
You're more normal than you think, AJ.
Yeah, you're doing fine, AJ. Okay.
Fine.
Your favorite Boston Celtics moment?
Oh, I think my first ever game. I don't I remember me being there, but I don't remember what happened. But I had a Kevin Garnett jersey on, so I was watching that era.
Yeah, that era. Danny Ainge was the GM, and during that era, and brought KG to them.
I'd probably say my favorite moment though is Game 1 of the finals last year. I went. Yeah.
Oh, you got to go and go do that. Yeah, that's fun. That's great stuff.
When did you when you were getting familiar with BYU, but you were a Celtic fan long before that.
Mm-hmm.
When did you connect Danny Ainge, even Greg Kite, Fred Roberts from old school? When did you connect Ainge to BYU?
Like, when did I know that he was tied?
Yeah.
Oh, on my visit. I didn't really know, like...
Before you had no idea?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So were you surprised that he comes walking in and, hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah. No, I knew about BYU, like, because when I moved to Utah, like, I knew something about BYU, and then they recruited me. And then it was like, Danny Ainge, Celtics, you're from Boston. I was like, oh, like, I didn't know.
Danny Ainge, like, is one of the greatest athletes in the history of professional sports. He was starting third baseman for the Toronto Blue Jays, and then decided to give up baseball and went and played for the Boston Celtics.
Did it mean
he
more?
was the National Player of the Year in basketball while he was playing professional baseball.
That's crazy. I can't do all that.
Did it mean more to your parents to have Ainge there than you having Ainge there? Because they lived the Ainge era, right?
That's my dad.
I think I know the answer to that.
He was there during that time. So
that's like pulling out Jimmer to the younger crowd. When they pull out Ainge to the older crowd, it goes right to the parents.
Yeah. Exactly right. So
number 44.
And I know. So this last question, I know you've only been here a couple weeks, but you've had experience here over this whole last year, right?
Okay, yeah.
So I'm going to ask you for your favorite BYU moment so far.
Favorite moment? Nah, it gotta be running up the rock.
Yeah.
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 It gotta be running.
That's
up
one
the
of
rock.
our favorite for you too.
Yeah.
We love
That was
watching you.
crazy. I was sweating on the way down. I was running.
Now, when you ran up and you got to the top, did you know what you were going to do next?
No, I had one of my teammates. He wasn't visiting. He was just watching a game. He got invited to go watch a game. So I was like, I haven't been up the rock, and I'm trying to be the best recruiter. So let me bring him all the way up to the rock. And when I was up there, I was like, I might as well just go around the whole rock.
Yeah.
And I looked down. I didn't know how far. That's how I knew the gym was so big. Because I never I see it, but like when you're up there, it's huge.
Yeah.
I noticed your dad didn't go up the rock with you. He sent you up alone.
Yeah, he sent me up alone. I was my choice, but he wasn't going to come up the rock.
AJ, when and you'll have a chance to meet thousands of your peers now on campus, but when people see you and then they think to themselves, how is it that AJ is at BYU? What is your answer?
The football game.
The football game?
Yeah.
The Arizona game.
Nah, but it was really just, like I said it a million times, like KY is just doing such a great job, and it really showed this year, like first year coach making it to the Sweet 16. Like, I mean, you really can't beat it. Like the whole NBA staff that they have Kevin, they have Wiz, who's the strength coach, they have Danielle, who's the dietitian, all coming from the NBA. Like, I mean, you're not really getting that at the college level. And obviously my main goal is to make the NBA at some point. So, I mean, why not get that information years earlier?
Makes sense.
Well, I think of the great things you said tonight, probably the most impactful was who said 1 year.
That's right.
No, yeah.
See how it goes.
Yeah.
So,
what's your summer like? I know Team USA. You got some plans with that. What happens between now and when fall semester begins?
Yeah, Team USA is around June, July. That's probably like the biggest thing coming up.
And then you get done with that, and you guys are just working out the whole, throughout the summer. When you're not with Team USA, you're back with your teammates here and with staff that you just described. And then football season comes. You can find yourself in Lavelle Edwards watching some of those big games in the fall?
Yeah, I definitely try to attend 2 to 3.
Great.
Yeah. Well, we're happy to have you here on this show. This show is a live stream with fans all over the world. And then it'll live on YouTube, and you understand the power of YouTube. Has launched your new YouTube channel today, and look for all the inside of AJ Debansa's life on his YouTube channel. And we mentioned all the social media links are in our stream. And now you're going to go home, go to bed, and get back to face another day as a student at BYU tomorrow?
Yeah. I'm actually going to go eat. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, there's a McDonald's down there on Cougar Boulevard.
There's no good. I can honestly say, AJ, there's not a great place to get jerk chicken or any food like that, like you and I like down in Jamaica.
I'll be in Jamaica soon.
Okay, so there's not good that here in town. But where's the best burger place? Do you like burgers?
I'm on a diet. I gotta get.
Are you
stronger.
good? You doing healthy proteins, like lean proteins and veggies and that kind of stuff?
Let's see. It's almost 8 on a Monday night. Yeah, I don't know. Probably go back to the house and have your dad cook you something.
Yeah.
That might be
Either
the best.
that or your dad. And when we're done with the show, Brenda's got some stuff. You can always come
Cafe
over to our house
Rio.
anytime you want. You can, like, some of the football boys come over. She'll cook up anything you want. So
when you go home and your mom cooks your favorite meal, what is it?
She just doesn't have any bad meals. Like, I don't even have a favorite meal for my mom.
You don't have a favorite? They're just all great?
Yeah. Like, you should try it. It's crazy. Like, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
The Thanksgiving meal.
Thanksgiving's number one?
There you go.
All right.
So somebody says Cafe Rio for AJ.
Oh, yeah, it is Cinco de Mayo, huh?
Yeah. If I think we had tacos in my house. I'm pretty sure they were eating those when I left because it's Cinco de Mayo.
Bam Bam's Barbecue is another suggestion on there.
Yeah, that's lean. That's
pretty
meat.
good, but that might be they're running late there.
Spencer told me about that.
Yeah, that's good. Bam Bam's is good.
You have to get over there. You have to get over there quick. That's over on State Street in Orem.
Yeah.
So, hey, thanks for coming.
We appreciate you coming in. We're excited.
Looking forward to spending the
Dave
year
and
with
I
you.
get to call a lot of the games for ESPN Plus as we get the season going, as we have for years and years and years. So we'll be calling your name a bunch. And we'll be telling great stories about you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for coming right over from class.
Yes.
Dad, thank you for bringing him. And we look forward to a big year with Cougar Nation and BYU basketball. The great A.J. Debansa settling into his Cougar career. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks, AJ.
All right. And you can come co-host this show whenever you want.
Yeah.
We're here on Monday nights.
Monday nights.
Honestly, anytime you want to get the word out on anything, and if you wanted to go to Japan and Cambodia and Brazil and where else do we have in the house tonight? Like all over the world, this is a good place to get the word out.
El Salvador.
El Salvador in the house. Philippines in the house.
All the fans wishing you good luck.
Maybe we start get Jamaica in the house.
We should get Jamaica in the house.
We should get Jamaica in the house.
You got the Celtics winning the whole thing this year?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they got to get through the Knicks. They're going to be playing the Knicks in the Garden, and you're going to be playing in the Garden.
No,
they just win?
The Knicks came back. I'm not supposed to tell you that because I don't want to end your night badly. But
what, did they have game one already tonight?
Yeah, somebody just in the stream said, "Don't tell AJ the Knicks came back."
Okay, we're going to tell you that.
We played a long game.
Well, they're going to play that series in the Garden, and you're going to be in the Garden on December 9th. How about that?
It's fun.
That sounds good.
That'd be
awesome.
great.
Okay, you're out of here. Thanks, AJ.
You. I appreciate it.
AJ Debansa, and 6'9", and can play all 5 positions. And another thing he said that was really interesting is they're going to get some more guys.
Yeah,
they've got some guys.
And I know AJ's been actively involved in the recruiting efforts. Like, how great players, can help bring other great players into the fold. So
yeah, I'll tell you what, Cougar Nation's in for a treat here.
Yeah, going to be fun.
That's great. Ace, thank you.
So
appreciate
thank you,
you.
Ace. So
great having the group here. I don't even know if Cougar Nation realizes what's going on here.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
This is Michael Jordan. This is LeBron James. This is Kobe Bryant. We're saying it quiet because he's still here.
Yeah.
But this is that big.
Well, and then the pieces they're building that Kevin and the team are bringing in around him, like don't underestimate how big this acquisition of Rob Wright is.
Yeah.
To come and play that point with his electric speed and his ability to defend on the ball and to break defenses down and kick the ball to AJ and let him go throw it down or knock down a three. It's just like, it seems like every pickup is a nice fit. And then there's that nice core of guys coming back that have experienced playing in this Big 12, which is a crazy physical league. That can help these young guys understand the physicality that it takes to play in this league.
We've had NBA champions on this show. We've had world champions on this show. We've had Olympic medalists on this show. Super Bowl champion MVPs on this show.
Yeah, we had one of the winningest coaches in the history of football, period, and Andy Reid on this show.
But we have never had the world's #1 ranked.
That's right.
High school recruit on our show, and now we have.
That's right.
And that's so cool. Let's update you on some campus notes. What's going on campus before we roll out of here on Cinco de Mayo?
Yeah, let's start with softball. 31-16 overall. 13-11 in league. Number 11 Texas Tech beat BYU 2-1 to take a series take the series 2-1. Right?
Yeah. That was a tough.
So they beat them 2-1 to take the series 2-1. And so this week the Big 12 championships in Oklahoma City. And then they start off with the number 6 seed BYU against the 11 seed Houston. That's Wednesday at 6:30 Mountain Time on ESPN Plus. The winner plays number 3 Iowa State on Thursday.
That's a decent draw for BYU. They've got to get through Wednesday, and then I think they've done enough to get an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament, which is significant in their second year in the Big 12.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gordon Eakins, he's put together a tremendous roster, and they went toe-to-toe with Texas Tech. The Red Raiders ranked number 11. They're ranked higher now, first place in the Big 12, and they needed everything out of their $1 million pitcher to get out of Provo to win 2-1 to take the series 2-1. That softball team's got it going.
Yeah.
Baseball's 22-23. They're 7-17 in the Big 12. Kansas State came in and took the series 2-1 after BYU won Game 1 back on Thursday.
Right.
The Cougars have just had a hard time closing it out. Now 1-5 in rubber matches. So they've been this close, and yet they remain this far in turning the corner. Wichita State tomorrow, 2:00 Mountain Time. They moved that game up due to the weather. And then BYU's at number 25, Kansas, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Really need to win one of those and then come home and finish with Texas Tech to get into the Big 12 tournament. All these games on ESPN Plus and BYU Radio. The next home game is Utah at BYU on Tuesday, May 13th. This baseball team's in a struggle. The pitching was exposed Friday and Saturday, and it's had a rough go in the Big 12, and that's where they got to go to get better. We saw it in football in the first year when BYU lost 5 straight to end. They were just playing better teams, and on 3rd and 1, the better team got 2 yards. And it didn't mean that they weren't competitive, but in the key moments, one team executed, and the struggling team didn't. And that's kind of what we're seeing in baseball. And I don't know what it's going to take to turn the corner outside of better pitching.
Yeah.
The starters, the bullpen, the closer, across the board. And it's a game of momentum, and we're not coming up with excuses. They just haven't made the pitches.
Yeah. And then, so do you have to go out and recruit?
Yeah.
More pitching is what you got to do, right? You got to get better pitching. And that's not easy.
No.
Because great pitchers coming out of high school go right into the minor leagues. And so you kind of got to grow them up. And
a lot of them go to climates where, this will sound like an excuse, but a lot of them go to Arizona State, Arizona, where you can play all year round.
Right.
We get that. We see it with golf.
Yeah.
Any outdoor sport, we see those schools are the SEC. They're playing outside all the time. Who are the best teams in the country? There's the SEC.
Yeah.
So this is going to be an interesting couple of weeks. They really need to finish strong, and then see what happens. But right now the focus is get Wichita State tomorrow, get at least one against Kansas, and finish at home and try to get to the postseason and survive a couple of days.
Yeah.
Then you have a little momentum of
to try to go recruit.
We can beat these guys, and now we need to
couple more pieces.
Get more pieces.
Yeah.
So we'll keep tabs on that. We still have a month left in the baseball season, or close to it. But that series over the weekend, Kansas State was just the better team, and they won. And that's what happens in sports.
Well, fortunately for BYU track and field, most of the time they're the better team.
Right.
Right. So men's ranking, the new polls come out tomorrow, but right now they're number 12. The women are ranked number 7. How about the women, kind of coming up from around 20 and working their way up to number 7 in the country right now? The BYU Robinson Invitational was just this past weekend. Rebecca Erickson set the school record in the pole vault, 14 feet 2 inches. What in the world? That's wild.
And the hits just kept coming. Aiden Troutner set the facility record in the 5,000 meters, broke the old record that had stood since 1989. He ran in 13:59.95, and he did it in a driving rainstorm.
Yeah, wild.
Didn't even matter.
Right. Sammy Oblad broke her own school record in the 400 meters.
She broke her own record.
She ran 50.49.
And Megan Hunter broke the 36-year facility record in the 800 meters with 2.00.67. And now they're getting ready for the Big 12 championships, May 15th through the 17th in Lawrence, Kansas.
It seems like somebody breaks some type of record that's been every time out for these teams.
And then sometimes they break their own.
Yep. So, Big 12 championships coming up here. Women's golf, NCAA regionals are May 5th through the 7th. That's, start today. And BYU is the 9 seed in that Charlottesville regional.
Men's golf, the NCAA regionals, for them, May 12th through the 14th. They're in the Reno regional as a 6 seed, seeking their second national championship.
1981 was the last time.
Yeah.
And that was a long time stacked team with a bunch of PGA guys.
You bet it was.
Men's volleyball, Luke Benson was named an All-America on the honorable mention team this year. And then Corbin Batista was named to the 2025 Boys U19 national team. So young star doing good.
I'm just looking up the BYU women's golf score from today.
Let's see how they did. Women's tennis.
Let's see.
Bobo Hong is named first team All Big 12. Went and watched Bobo play a couple times this year. She is from, I'm trying to say this right, Guangzhou, China.
Okay.
She went 19-3 in singles this year, including 11 wins in the Big 12. And she was also world ranked this year. She was good enough in some of the tournaments she played outside to get a world ranking, which is not
awesome.
really common in college. So what a great season for Bobo.
On this day, May 5th, a few things went on as we roll out tonight. 1494, Columbus discovers Jamaica. That was
How
a running
about
theme
that?
with
That was
AJ.
a theme today?
During
AJ's
his
mom's from
second
Jamaica?
voyage to the New World. Hey, there's Jamaica. Sweet.
Yeah, it's great.
Let's go to the beach.
Great food. 1862, Mexico defeats the French in the Battle of Puebla. You mentioned this,
Yeah.
right? Cinco de Mayo is born and turns into a day to celebrate Mexican culture and heritage.
1891, Carnegie Hall opens in New York City, originally named Music Hall.
And our Libby sang in Carnegie Hall.
There you go.
So, 1904, Cy Young pitches the first perfect game in modern baseball history as Boston beats Philadelphia 3-0.
1961, on this day, Alan Shepard becomes the first American in space. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, 1969, the Milwaukee Bucks signed the #1 NBA draft pick, Lou Alcindor, later to become Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That happened on this day.
1969.
On this day in 1978, Pete Rose becomes the 14th player to reach 3,000 hits.
1995, the last basketball game at the legendary Boston Garden was played. The Celtics were eliminated by the Magic in the playoffs. Now they have a new garden.
Yeah, it's not the same, but the floor is even. There aren't dead spots.
No, that's true.
Danny Ainge told us about those.
Yeah, they knew where they were. The other teams didn't.
On this day in 2005, Floyd Mayweather Jr. defeated Oscar De La Hoya by a split decision at the MGM Grand. The fight generated $130 million. I was there covering that one. I thought De La Hoya had outpointed Mayweather, but Mayweather won on the scorecard and went on to remain undefeated and finish undefeated. But that was quite a night when those two got in the ring.
So it was a single. You said that they have a tradition in Vegas for a fight night on Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo weekend, there's always one, and Mexican Independence weekend in September.
Yeah, another big
and
fight.
De La Hoya was the big ticket back in the day on those things.
So let's go to some birthdays.
Okay.
So May 5th birthdays. 1818, Karl Marx.
He had an impact on the world, didn't he? 1971, Harold Miner. Who's Harold Miner? Remember, he won the NBA dunk contest in 1993. He wasn't the tallest guy, but he could fly.
In 1983, Henry Cavill was born.
Superman.
Yeah, Superman.
Now, he's not Superman. There's a new Superman.
Right, but he was the the Superman
He
guy
was a really good Superman.
that we knew.
We think he might be the next James Bond, but they haven't announced it. Yeah. Adele was born on this day in 1988.
Oh, yeah. She's the sweet tones of Adele. Yeah. 2003, Carlos Alcaraz, tennis champion, U.S. Open in 2022, Wimbledon in 23, French Open in 2024.
That's a pretty good run.
Yeah. He's a Spaniard that can really play. Youngin.
On this day in deaths, 1821, Napoleon.
Yeah.
The French military leader died on this day.
How about that?
Our Wise Guy's inspirational quote of the week is from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
And he says, I think that the good and the great are only separated by the willingness to sacrifice.
Yeah, think about that.
Yeah. So
that's Lou Alcindor.
The good become great by sacrificing and putting in the time and grinding and doing it all.
Special thanks to AJ Debansa, Chase Roberts, and movie producer Blair Treu. What a lineup.
Yeah, how about that night tonight?
That was awesome.
Wow.
So good.
Next week, Frank Christiansen, BYU professor, who as a student was in charge of tackling Marshall Falk?
Yeah.
At LaVell Edwards Stadium.
Yeah. Remember when he came in and ran for 3 miles?
Yeah.
It was his job to stop him.
Yeah.
So he's coming on Wise Guys, and we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
I think we'll help him exercise some demons.
Yeah, Frank Christiansen.
But you know, you never know. It's like that Sesame Street song, the people that you meet as you're walking down the street. Yeah. The professors at BYU, some of them were assigned to tackle Marshall Falk at LaVell Edwards Stadium, and Frank was one of them, so we're going to hear his story next week.
The best way to stop Marshall Falk back in those days was to not let him get on the field at all.
Yeah, just keep the ball.
Exactly right.
Here's where you can find us this week. I'm in the Deseret News all week, and next Monday on Sports Nation before we're back together.
Yeah, tomorrow I'm co-hosting Sports Nation tomorrow with Jerem.
Great.
So we'll do that tomorrow, and then next Monday you'll have Sports Nation, then we'll be here tomorrow on Monday night for Wise Guys.
Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus, distributed by the Deseret News. We got some big things coming, but tonight might have been our biggest show.
Yep.
I mean, we had big stars, but But we just seem to, it's just getting better and better.
Yeah, some big Wise Guys news coming in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
So
thanks,
stay tuned.
everybody.
Thanks. See you next week.